all the way until 2030.
Good.
After the Home Office claimed it would only be for 12 months. Not much ambition involved in that, is there, in terms of solving the migrant crisis?
Absolutely, and the way that the Labour government gaslit the public when the migrants were first moved in there, saying, you know, you guys are absolutely being mad. Crowborough is a quiet, leafy town in East Sussex. These people, you can see, have been pushed to their absolute limit. They're not the types that you usually see protesting about this sort of thing. But that town has been absolutely desecrated.
You're ruining the country. Get Keir Starmer out. Look, England flags. You're useless. Labour parties are useless.
I love our country. And one of the things about our country is good manners. Not very British.
What Labour advisor thought she wasn't going to be heckled at a petrol station in Leeds? Do these politicians actually ever get out and understand what it's like for real working class people? I thought it was British to exercise a right to free speech. That's what Keith Stalin told Trump. That's what White Van Man was exercising yesterday to Richard III. Oh yes, I remember. We're not really allowed our right to free speech in case we criticise the government.
You can't blame people so many decades away from you for the chaos that has been caused by Labour.
This is cheap politics, isn't it, Syrian?
Well, it's stupid politics. I mean, who raised national insurance on part-time workers? Labour. Who's been the stupid people that have wandered down the road and increased taxes on businesses and on individuals? Labour.
A lot of people get very frustrated, especially when the government says, oh, free school meals, you know, for every kid, not just the kids who really need them, free bus passes, free this, free that. None of it's free. It's subsidised and paid for by the taxpayer. And we're in this constant situation where the government's answer to everything is tax us a bit more, take more of our money, and then give some more of it away generously. It's our sodding money they're giving away.
Yeah, exactly. And it's either someone else's money today, another taxpayer, or even worse, it's the money from our future selves. And we keep making this mistake in Britain.
I've got some breaking news here. The Crowborough Army Training Camp could hold male asylum seekers all the way until 2030.
Good.
After the Home Office claimed it would only be for 12 months. Not much ambition involved in that, is there, in terms of solving the migrant crisis?
Absolutely, and the way that the Labour government gaslit the public when the migrants were first moved in there, saying, you know, you guys are absolutely being mad. Crowborough is a quiet, leafy town in East Sussex.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Hello, good morning to you, and welcome to the show. I'm back from Florida. That is why I now seem to qualify for a DEI initiative. I'm looking forward to all of my special privileges that I will now get as I racially change into a darker person. Anyway, it's brilliant out there, you know. It's MAGA land. I've never seen so much common sense. Never have I seen such big trucks either. I actually saw my first Cybertruck while I was there. It's a sight to behold. I'm not really sure what it is. It looks like a spare part for a cooker, if I'm honest. But there you go. I liked it. Anyway, it is great to be back nonetheless. Apart from walking to work today, I was followed by some strange migrant who was speaking to himself in a coffee cup, which was, you know, well, it's London, isn't it? Anyway, I'm joined, as per usual, by the wonderful, exceptional, pale Peter Barnes.
Very pale, perpetually pale.
Do you tan? Do you tan?
I used to when I was a child, yeah. I used to go, like, proper mahogany brown, but now, I spend too much time inside.
Why?
Everything I like is inside, and people are outside that I don't like.
That's true. That's pretty much how I felt today. I actually tried to give my mum a call because this weird man was walking down the road. I mean, I don't know. You know, you just think, I don't know if this person's going to be a threat or not. I don't get to the threat level. But he actually just had a coffee cup like this, and I thought he was talking into his phone like that, you know, and people sort of, I don't know why
understand why people do that.
I hate that. And he was sort of like, blah, 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 talking away, and he was talking into a coffee cup.
Yeah.
An empty, like, mangled coffee cup.
I told you, everybody who shouts out loud in London just cross the street.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but everybody feels the need to start screaming into the, you know, into the open air at like 6 a.m. or something stupid like that. Yeah. I'm like, what is wrong with people? And then I realise, again, it's London.
It's London, yeah. And I didn't really enjoy that. Actually, look, there's a pretty horrible story that's emerging overnight. A 17-year-old girl is fighting for her life after being stabbed in the neck. Armed officers from Lancashire Police were deployed to Briarfield, which is near Nelson. It's understood that a man who's 30 years old has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. It appears from some reports that he is potentially an Afghan national. I got this to say. I got this to say to you, Sir Keir Starmer. Do you know what it's like to walk down the street with your heart thudding against your chest because a weird man is following you? Do you know how it feels as a woman to get on the tube and have leering men stare at you from another culture? Do you have any idea what it's like to live in perpetual anxiety because there are lots of men from violent, misogynistic countries prowling around our streets? Do you have any idea what it is like to start becoming desensitised to yet another stabbing, an attempted beheading, a gang rape, a sex attack? Do you have any idea? Or is it that you live in your ivory towers with your secure cavalcade of vehicles, so it doesn't matter, doesn't affect you, doesn't affect your family? We pay for your protection. Why aren't you protecting us? How many more stabbings, beheadings, rapes, sex attacks? How many more? Until you do something. Until you get behind a podium and you speak to your people and you explain to them the urgent measures you are going to take to protect us. How many more incidents and events until you wake up and face the reality of the vandalism that has been done to this country, how unsafe our streets are? How many more? It's a simple question, and you need to answer it, because I'm fed up. I'm fed up with the gaslighting. I'm fed up with every time there's an incident like this, instead of addressing the issues, instead of coming up with a plan to get these people out of the country, lock them up and make sure they can't roam the streets, prevent them from leaving the military bases you're now putting them in, the HMOs, the hotels. What are you going to do about this? This is a national emergency. This is a crisis. And you would rather point the finger of blame at politicians who do want to address this, saying that they're using it to push a divisive narrative, that their rhetoric is too extreme. There is no rhetoric that is extreme enough when it comes to people being murdered in broad daylight by savages that you have imported from a foreign land. How much more do you think we, the British people, can take? Because I'm telling you, we are cracking. The strain is too much. I feel like now we have to brace ourselves for continued rioting, unrest throughout summer, a summer of discontent. So that's great. Not only do we have to worry about who might try and attack us in the street, steal our phone, sexually abuse our daughters, we've also got to worry now about the reaction to that. And what are you doing? Where are you? What is your plan? Yeah, I thought so. You don't have one. Oh, this.
Yep. I couldn't agree with more with anything that you've just said. I'm just reading the police statement here. This thing happened at 3:06 in the afternoon.
In a random place in Lancashire, not, central London 3 in the morning.
Literally in the middle of the afternoon. It's not even in a dark alleyway at 2 a.m. This is in the middle of the afternoon. Then the police have the audacity to say these aren't life-changing injuries. Are you telling me this girl is going to be perfectly fine from now on? Her life has been damaged beyond repair. She's been stabbed by a person in the back of the neck, and yet we're supposed to say, that's fine, it's just a flesh wound. Are you kidding me? And more important, the bit I really hated is, extra patrols are on the weekend. What happens after the weekend?
Right.
What happens after the weekend?
Also, no doubt, so, when we learn he's going to be a, 30-year-old man from, some Lancashire town. No, he's not.
No, he's not.
No, he's blimmin' not. I hate the way they do that.
I can't stand it.
When it says, 4 men were arrested today for sexually assaulting someone on Brighton Beach. The men who are all from, Swindon.
Yeah.
And no, they're not.
Yeah. Oh. And yet, you're so right. We now have to be so terrified of the reaction to this because it is so predictable. And yet again, it is the establishment that have created this because you won't be honest with people. They not only do these tricks where they kind of gaslight us, they withhold information. I go back to the super injunction that the former government used to silence judges and courts and journalists from reporting the fact we brought in thousands of people from Afghanistan and we don't know who they are.
Right.
And they don't have any right to work. They don't need to work. They don't need to do anything. We don't know who these people are. And yet again, it is people who live here just wanting to get on with their day, on with their life, that have to now walk in fear.
What amazes me is this pathetic, sick government would rather legislate over dangerous dogs, XL bullies, not that I'm a fan of them, but not over dangerous men.
Oh.
Why are they allowed out their blimmin' hotels? That's what I understand. They've got security on the door, so people like you and I can't go in and see what's going on in there.
Yeah.
Why are they roaming our streets? Who are they?
Well, God knows at this point.
They're liars, they're chancers at the very least. They have broken the law by paying people traffickers, involving themselves with international criminal cartels and terrorist organisations in order to get to Britain in the first place.
There's not many people that haven't got, a bit of a dodgy side that could make it across a continent into the UK. Let's be real, the travel that these people have gone, that journey is not easy.
Yes.
So you've got to have a little bit of wits and probably a violent streak to you.
Yes, you've got to be a tough person if you're going to be trafficked across a desert in the back of a pickup by some men with giant beards holding AK-47s.
We wonder why there's no women and children do it, because they couldn't survive it.
Do you know, I'm glad you said that, because I was actually speaking to a great friend of mine who was in the SAS in intelligence and now does a lot to actually prevent the trafficking of women and girls. And he was telling me that along these migratory routes, even if women and children start out, they're just taken out of the pack and sold into sex slavery.
Yeah. I think the kids get...
That's what you're funding. Yeah. That's what not doing something about this situation...
You want to talk about human rights?
Yeah, staying in the ECHR is causing this.
Yeah. Without a doubt. And kids, it's one of the things I read, organ harvesting.
Organ harvesting, yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Organ harvesting. Kids.
So the women are either, at the very best they can hope for, they become, sold in the domestic slave market. The worst is they are trafficked and become sex slaves. And you're right, children murdered for their organs.
Yeah.
And that is what not doing something about this. That's what it's causing. It is not kind. It is not nice to continue enabling this mass migratory flow of people. It's not the right thing to do, as Starmer likes to say.
And God knows what this money is that, these people smugglers, where that money is going, because they're being bankrolled as well. And who are bankrolling those people? People would, do a lot nasty things in this country.
Yeah.
And it is all part of one big ecosystem, and we are continuing to fund it with taxpayer money.
Yeah.
That, there's no other way to argue it. It's not a be kind thing, it's not a nice thing, You're funding the very terror that is actually happening on our streets.
How is it as well? Why is almost every single street in every single town and city littered now with your Turkish barbers, your vape shops, your phone repair shops? They're all fronts, not all of them, but let's say the vast majority of fronts for money laundering, largely connected to people trafficking. How are they there? It's very obvious. You look at them and go, oh, well, that looks illegal, close it down.
Yeah, why, when there's 4 Turkish barbers in a row on one street, You know, at what point do, again, does common sense not wander into the equation?
Just go in there, shut the
Yeah.
blimmin' thing down and say, get on a plane back to Turkey. Goodbye.
Yeah, you're also not telling me that they all have to take cash as well. I mean, that is the biggest red flag of all of it. You know, it's crazy. Again, it is
It's not just that. Not only do they not shut these places down, they give them the opportunity to have skilled worker visas.
The visas, yes.
But
the
what?
visas, yeah.
It's mad.
It's crazy. And do you know what actually really irritates me when it comes to the visa situation? The people that actually do want to come here to, you know, find a job, actually start to, like, pay tax, be part of everything, we make those people jump through more hoops, you know, than sea lions at SeaWorld. And yet we make them pay a fortune. Those are the people that we want.
Yeah.
And yet the people that we don't want, come on in, here's a hotel, here's this, here's that, here's everything.
Americans, Australians, Canadians, New Zealanders who are basically us.
Yeah.
With, you know, cooler accents. Oh, no, you can't come.
No.
Oh, you've got to do all these things to get a visa, but old Mohammed from Sudan, in you are, lad.
Yeah.
Bring your knife.
Yeah, the guy who said he was 16 years old, he's actually 32, with 2 divorces and a mortgage, you know.
But also, did you read the other day... I don't know why I haven't covered this yesterday, but this madness that the government's like, oh, we're going to bring down the number of migrants, and they're doing a deal to bring in foreign workers, and they're going to pay companies thousands of pounds to hire foreign workers. What?
Yeah.
Have you not seen the joblessness?
2 million predicted by the end of the year. 2 million people are predicted.
Why are they doing that? What the...
Well, there is...
What are they doing?
Honestly, at this point, I think they're just... I can't... There's no words to describe what they're doing. I can't tell you what they're
Britain's
doing.
almost destroyed. Let's give it a few more punches and it'll be done forever.
At this point, it
Hurrah.
seems to be... I wonder how far we can push it. Do you know, it's some kind of perverse bet that they've got going on behind the doors.
That's mental.
Yeah.
They're giving companies money to hire foreign workers. I'm like,
the only thing I can think of is that the government hasn't trained and skilled up our own population to take the jobs. So either way, it's a failure. Because one of the reasons we've got people we have to bring certain people in is because our education system is treating people terribly, so they can't read and write. So then we have to bring in people from other countries who actually bother to educate their youth into jobs, you know, into, like, you know, careers where there's actually a future in it. Not everybody can get on life with a dance theory degree. Yeah. Sometimes you have to do STEM. And it's not a bad thing either.
Let's do some messages, shall we, before we go to break? I wonder how many immigrants would fight with us in a war. I wonder how many immigrants are going to fight against us in a war.
You think there's going to be a fight? It's you can fit our armed forces into Wembley Stadium with room left over.
It appears to me that every time we try to make a point to the government, violence erupts and ruins it. Resorting to violence will always play into the hands of the government.
True.
Might I suggest that it's women who will suffer most in the future under Islamic rule? This is where, in my opinion, the country's headed. It's not even an extreme thing to say anymore. It's actually just common sense. It's like maths. Why don't the women of this country get together and march peacefully on Westminster and refuse to leave? No government can withstand such a protest, and they will fall within 5 days, says Kevin from Sunbury. Kevin, I think it's a great idea, and actually I'm in a little chat group with a group of right-wing, sensible, common sense women with positions who we are thinking, we are planning of what we can do. My problem is a lot of women are just...
Yeah, I mean, if you look at most of the polling, women tend to be more far left than the far left at the moment, particularly Gen Z.
I love the fact that, you know, you've got sort of women in their 20s voting for the Green Party. It's like, you do know, when they've legalised or decriminalised the drugs, decriminalised prostitution, have fully open borders, you'll be a sex slave. Yep. You'll be, you know, jacked up on crack and being, you know...
Yeah.
Featured on OnlyFans against your will.
Voting for their own extinction is hilarious, if you think about it in a perverse way.
Starmer will say nothing because he and his government are cowards who turn the police against ordinary, decent British people while bending over backwards for immigrants. Yeah. Prevent them from ever entering the UK in the first place. That's a great idea. Yeah. Let's do that.
Step foot on the land, on a boat, back you go. I don't understand why that's not a thing. You broke into the country, it's a crime. Why are they here? The legal routes are still there, no matter what anybody says. The moment you do this act, it is a crime.
Yeah. How many more? 10 years ago, I lived next to an Indian man and his family. He was a lawyer. Within 2 years, he had moved into a gated house and let his house to an African immigrant and family. The men would congregate outside our house, and so we moved. The immigrants are running the immigration system now. That's true. Have you noticed how many immigration lawyers themselves seem to be immigrants? I wonder how crooked some of them are.
Oh, I'd love that investigation.
I'd love that investigation.
Yeah. That should actually be something that a group should be doing, is actually just going through each of these law firms and saying, wait a minute, where are you getting your money from?
Yeah.
The old classic. Do you remember when we used to have people used to shout at people like me and you going, "Who funds you? Who funds you?" We'll shout it back for a change. They won't like that.
Alex, you're saying what most people think. Burnham will not make any difference. We need a general election now, indeed. HMRs are an explosion waiting to happen, and idiots can see it. The sad fact is British people's future will be mired in conflict and random attack. HMOs terrify me.
Yeah.
As next door to my house, which I bought almost a year ago, there's a property up for sale. And I just, you know, my wonderful, lovely, peaceful, calm little village. But that's what they're doing now. They're putting these men into random, peaceful villages. If they suddenly went, you know, all right, there you go, we'll buy that property, give it to Circle or whatever, and shove in there who you like, and some random from Somalia was in there, what would I do? I wouldn't be able to sell my house. No one would want to buy it.
That is also part of the problem, is people are trapped in these communities now because nobody wants to buy a house next to a HMO.
I hate these people. I personally think the barbershops and vape shops are hubs for terror cells that have planned attacks well before they've arrived here. We're sitting ducks, I'm afraid, says Matt in Grimsby. There's a brilliant woman who used to be the expert on the Middle East for the Pentagon, and she basically says Al-Qaeda 2.0 are planning mass, coordinated atrocities, basically bigger than 9/11. In terms of all across Europe and the West, at a coordinated time, they'll all get up and just mass stabbings everywhere.
See, I think we're already living in that, if I'm being brutally honest. And I think it's happened right under our noses. But, you know, I don't think it's any great conspiracy. We're living through it. Just look through the newspapers every single day. If you're telling me that this is, you know, I've always believed in incompetence over conspiracy, but nobody's this coordinated.
No,
this lot can be that coordinated.
It's madness. Evil. All right.
Yeah, happy Saturday.
Let's take a break so we can come back with a bit more cheer and delight, and you'll be pleased to know the quiz returns.
Tension bed.
Tension bed. All right, here we go. A little bit jaded today, I must admit. I'm not sure my quality of questions. Right, Elon Musk has become the world's first trillionaire.
Yes.
What I want to know is how many zeros are there in a trillion? We'll tell you after this.
We've got some breaking news that has just come in. TalkSport have announced a brand new partnership in a developing story. We hear they've created So Good Lager right in time for football's big summer. Just in, we're hearing that So Good Lager will be pouring pints across all O'Neill's pubs and some of the best sports pubs across the UK. With the big kickoff just around the corner, you can find out where to get your hands on a fresh pint of So Good Lager at talksport.com/lager.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
In a world where nothing makes sense, I meet Alex Phillips from the home of common sense.
Love
They're
it.
great, love it.
I love
Love
that.
it.
I forgot about
I
it.
could tell on your face you're like, what is going on? And then you forgot about it.
Literally only been away for 2 weeks, and I forgot we have all these brilliant bespoke
Yeah, jingles.
jingles.
Although that
Was it
one
a
sounded
jingle?
quite ominous.
Especially the tension bed.
Yeah, with the tension bed in the background.
Oh, tension bed and ominous voice. It was sort of like.
I love how we refer to tension bed like it's a person now. Good old tension bed.
Good old tense. I've missed old
He's got a
tense.
nickname now.
Yeah. Old Terry Tense. I've been missing him. I was sitting on the beach in Florida. It was just playing in the back of my head.
Yeah. Do you know what's really sad? My partner's got me watching quiz shows. Like, for practice.
Oh, for practice?
Yeah. Literally all the time. He's got me in training.
You could just give him my number and we can conspire. You know,
No, I'm not doing that.
In fact, he could write the quiz. It's become the bane of my life. Can I just say, I was sitting in makeup earlier. I was like, I've got to write that blimmin' quiz. Anyway.
Yes.
And I had to Google the answers myself because I have no idea how many zeros there are in a trillion. I do now.
Yeah, it's 12.
It is 12. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you are.
And congratulations, Elon Musk, for being a trillionaire.
I wonder if Elon Musk, because he doesn't really, I don't think he really spends his money much, does he?
No, if you notice, apart from, I think, Bezos, none of them really do.
So why don't they just give it to countries? Why don't they just give it to the UK and save our economy? Why doesn't Elon Musk, instead of like... I like Elon a lot. I don't care much for him meddling in our politics right now because he's not helping. But I do think his intentions are good.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why doesn't Elon Musk just sort of AI up some deportation centres for the... You've got the money. Can you make some deportation centres for us?
We did have a lot of money at one point, and look what we did with it.
Can Elon Musk give us 10 billion for our armed forces?
Well...
Dear Elon, please, please send a charity cheque to the UK.
I have been thinking that, eventually Ethiopia will be having a children in need for people in Britain. At some point.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Right, let us get on to political news now.
Yes. Because, when it rains, it pours.
It's been clear from the beginning that Miliband's been pulling all the puppet strings for
100%.
this leadership stuff.
Yeah.
Here he is, sniffing around Burnham, wanting to become Chancellor. It was always his plan. And I love the idea that they've actually got a little team together, apparently, in order to calm the bond markets.
Yeah.
In case, this comes to pass. It's like, how rubbish do you have to be that you actually have to think, just don't be Chancellor.
Yeah.
Instead of going, the markets are going to get really scared if I become Chancellor. Just don't do it.
Do you know what the original plan was, if it wasn't Miliband? It was to keep Rachel Reeves. Do you want to know why? The markets don't trust her. They don't pay attention to her. She's that irrelevant to the situation that the bond market doesn't really move anymore because people know that whatever she says is nonsense. They completely ignore her. So the idea was, if you keep her in place, the bond market will generally stay fine. Well, it's not great, but we'll go into free fall.
That little missy has a lot of power, doesn't she?
She has an incredible amount of power.
Like, at what point did she go, yeah, you're not going to get all that money for the armed forces, 10 billion? Nah, we're just going to have to give that to the migrants.
Yeah.
We'll give that to companies to employ more migrants.
Yeah. But it's because she's there, because the city keep her there, because they're terrified of whatever comes next. That's why she's so powerful. She's got good backers. And in other words, the entire economy that's left. That's literally why. It's terrifying because, Rachel from Accounts is now running everything.
What I think is disgusting, this entire Makerfield by-election clown show that it's become.
Yes.
Because it is now a clown show, that by-election.
My parents hate it. They all want it to be over.
But also, how disgusting and insulting. When the Conservative Party did this, I thought it was disgusting and insulting to play games and keep changing Prime Minister without us having a say. Andy Burnham's running around with little meme face posters and, oh, look at me, aren't I lovely? I'm Andy blimmin' Burnham. Well, what do you want to do if you become Prime Minister? I mean, at least tell us. So I can, build an Anderson shelter or something.
Yeah, move.
Get the old sump put in the cellar so I can go and hide in it.
My thing is, though, nobody did a pretty good job of telling everybody how terrible he was as Greater Manchester Mayor. Everybody said he was terrible. Nobody really pointed to anything and said, well, he didn't do that very well. Everybody elevated and inflated this guy. You made him Prime Minister in everybody's mind and then told voters, here's a way of getting rid of the even unpopular Prime Minister. Andy Burnham has a positive polling rating. Why on earth were people not going to think that the guy I quite like is going to be able to get rid of the guy I don't like? And, you didn't tell me exactly why he was a bad guy. The failure to get rid of Andy Burnham rests squarely on the entire right, because that guy is useless, and yet everybody spent more time fighting each other than actually being able to get rid of Andy Burnham.
Madness. We've got to do the list.
Oh, yeah. Do you know, Ian Collins has pre-recorded it.
Oh, has he?
Yes.
Do you know what I was just thinking?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I was thinking, so it's going to pop up a lot in this show, isn't it? We're going to have to do the list. And I was wondering if old Tech Up wants to, you know, find a good musical bed for the list.
Yeah, I don't think you
know,
better...
I think we should sort of, like, style it out, have some fun with the list. You know, I was doing it a bit like, Faith, the producers say we can't do that. Ofcom are so boring.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll try and make the list without music. We could beatbox the list.
I don't think... I'm going to say, I don't think compliance will like that.
Come rock the list. Compliance Claire will be on the blower.
Yeah.
Here we are. Right. Jake Austin for the Liberal Democrats. Count Binface for the Count Binface Party. Andy Burnham for the Labour Party. Dan Clark, the Libertarian Party. John Dyer coming in as an independent. Ed Gemmell, the Climate Party. Paul Gold, he's also running for the Independents himself. Alan Howling, Lord Hope, back once again for the official monster raving loony party. You can't put him down. Robert Kenyon, Reform UK's plumber. Robert Pownell, he wants to protect the wild. Rebecca Shepherd is there for Restore Britain. Sarah Wakefield, one part of the world for you, my friend, for the Green Party. Peter Ward, he wants to rejoin the EU. And Michael Winstanley bringing up the bat for the Conservative Party. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Right. Let's find more interesting ways to do that. In fact, maybe you'll do the next time I have to do the list. You can
maybe
do
it should
it.
we could turn it into some kind of like memory test to see how many you can get through before you have to look at the piece of paper.
Oh, actually, by the end, I'm going to have a cheeky extra bonus question, which is how many candidates can you name? I like that. Great thought.
Yeah.
Let us do it. So there we go. Ed Miliband is likely to become Chancellor if Burnham wins in Makerfield. No, I'm not doing the list again.
Oh, wait, OK. Can we still talk about it? Because there is actually another point to make here.
Yes.
Is the reason is it's not Miliband sniffing around Burnham. Miliband holds in his back pocket a very large chunk of the parliamentary party.
What happened to those Mandelson files? I thought they were coming out.
Yeah.
Where are they gone?
Well, wherever the Epstein files went, I imagine. But no, I think it's actually more that they're all arguing about what can be released now, because didn't Starmer withhold some bits?
Well, he don't want it coming out before Makerfield, does he?
Well, I think the damage is already done, if I'm being honest. How much worse can it actually get?
The best bit that we've seen so far is, who was it who said every time I go to Cabinet, it's just like, we've got to tax people for welfare. We need welfare.
Was that... I don't have a feeling that was Healy. It's not. It's the his cabinet secretary.
Oh, I don't know.
That one.
That person changes every 5 seconds as well.
Yeah, it's that one. But he was like best friends with... Well, not best friends, but he was like really good mates with Mandelson, wasn't he? That's why he's all over the papers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Miliband actually holds a huge amount of power. It's one of the reasons that John Healy's actually resigned, is because Miliband won't back down on net zero. Starmer can't get rid of Miliband because he has a big chunk of the parliamentary party that he's going to need if he stands against Burnham for leadership.
I mean, have you heard what he wants to do now? Oh, mad Ed. He wants to get rid of underfloor heating. The Romans invented that.
Also, the guy has 2 ovens. Please tell me he's got rid of an oven.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember?
Please go and play in your oven.
Yeah.
Leave us alone.
Yeah.
He wants to get rid of underfloor heating, which is just ridiculous. Why? But he also wants to get rid of heated electric towel rails.
Oh,
do you know what? They always...
tumble dryers, I thought, was the most ridiculous one, but now, no, towel racks.
Wants to get rid of tumble dryers?
You don't remember this?
How are we going to dry our clothes?
Well, you could, yeah.
No, but how?
I don't know.
You can't put it outside for like 99% of the year, let's be fair. Even the summer, it's unpredictable. And if you hang a load of wet clothes inside your house, you get black mould.
Yeah.
And I scratch and itch enough as it is without black mould in my life. I don't need black mould.
Yeah. Well, that was about 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago. That was one of the announcements he had.
Messing about with heating things and drying things is like deliberately torturing one with dermatitis and asthma and, you know, all those atopic people out there.
Because I thought that's why we had ULEZ, to make the air better for everybody. But now we're just going to bring the dirty air inside.
Apparently, Andy Burnham says he would slash Britain's welfare bill to pay for increased spending on defence. Well, by the way, Andy, none of your backbenchers will vote for it.
No.
So forget it.
Yeah. But then none of the backbenchers are going to vote for it now, so realistically... This is why people keep saying it's going to get so much worse under Burnham. I'm like, how exactly? Because he's stuck in the same situation where, you know, whatever the backbenchers want, that's what's going to happen. So this whole kind of running around saying he's going to be worse, how much worse can it realistically get?
They basically brought back Gordon Brown, haven't they, as a sort of IMF whisperer or something. He's there to sort of, you know, prevent us totally falling over the cliff edge.
But as I keep pointing out
until the Labour Party are about to go, and then they're like, ha-ha.
Yeah, but I keep pointing out, the IMF have said there's no money for a bailout. So the idea that, you know, there's some kind of safety net, there isn't one.
Oh, we're so doomed.
We're basically, you know, we've got a net with a massive hole in it that's shaped like the same size as the United Kingdom.
There's no net left, it's just hole.
Yeah, yep. Net zero, ironically. Thank you.
That's really well done. I like that. I like that. Right, let us do more messages because they've been flooding in.
Yeah.
Julie in Hertfordshire says, my question is, how bad does it need to be? Starmer is too weak to lead our country and to take hold of our security, close the door at the borders and say no. Our country's on its knees as it is, bringing criminals into our country to break the law, who then get sent to prisons, which means we are still footing the bill. There is a process of sexual terrorism taking place in the UK. Women are starting to think about where they go, when they go, what they wear. This leads to them not going out, changing where they do go and changing the way they dress so as not to attract attention. They tell their daughters and granddaughters to do the same until all the women stay in the house and dress modestly. Well, just become Muslim then by the sounds of things.
Yeah.
This is not how our society works. It is not how I was brought up or how I want to live. I once read that I'm more likely to win the lottery than be raped by a stranger, so it's never really been something I worry about. I think that that stat may be different now. Helen in Yorkshire. Yeah. Elon Musk is more British than Keir Starmer if you define Britishness as genuine concern for the welfare of British people. True.
I think you could apply that to, like, J.D. Vance, I imagine, as well. He cared more about it.
Alex, in the same week that two of our defence ministers stand down due to ill funding, the government announced a £4.5 billion campaign to get our kids walking to school by 2035. Why do you have to spend money, like, on that? Just... Why would it cost £4.5 billion to help kids walk to school? Are you going to pay the kids to walk to school?
Is it probably for, like, pay for safety, extra patrols, like some people have to do? Which is just a preferred... Well, at the moment, you have to... Sending your child to school becomes an act of bravery. Something has gone fundamentally wrong.
Yeah, Simon goes on to say, at the same time, a man is nearly beheaded, and now a 17-year-old gets stabbed in the neck, not taking into account all the other previous monstrosities that have happened, rape gangs, etc., that still haven't been addressed. This government seriously has its priorities wrong, and they're not living in the same world as all of us. Yeah, I did read about that sort of walking to school thing, and I was just like, what? That's all they talk about. We've given breakfasts to kids.
Breakfast clubs, apparently, are going to fix everything. Apparently, a bowl of cereal, that's all you need.
How can Starmer know what it's like for a woman being followed if he doesn't even know what a woman is? Right. And the good news is, if Andy Burnham gets to be Prime Minister, he'll take down all the portraits of Starmer's stupid choice of woke heroes. The bad news is that they'll be replaced with mirrors.
That's actually quite funny.
That's not the quiz, that is, that is the candidates. Right, are you ready for the next question?
Oh, tension bed.
Now, Elon Musk's dad, Errol, recently took a trip to Russia, the Russians' version of Davos, apparently. Which UK figure did he meet while there?
Oh.
There we go. Well, I'll let you know after this.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Alex Phillips at the weekend with, we just call him Peter.
Oh.
Yeah, I like that one. Have we had that one before?
I don't think
that's
so.
fresh.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I liked it, thank you.
We just call him Pete. Tension pen.
Right. Elon Musk's dad Errol recently took a trip to Russia. But which UK figure did he meet while out there?
I don't know. I haven't seen the story.
It's very random. Tommy Robinson.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah.
That's odd.
Yeah.
Because I thought he was in America.
Who,
Tommy Robinson?
Well, he was recently hanging
Yeah.
out with Errol Musk in Russia.
Oh. He gets around.
Yeah, there you are. OK, right, we'll come back to that. Let's talk now about policing and police actually being useful because they've arrested 107 protesters at Palestine Action activist sentencing. I mean, blimmin' Polanski going out, oh, they shouldn't be imprisoned. They smashed a policewoman's spine with a sledgehammer for crying out loud.
Yeah.
But, so there were demonstrators outside Woolwich Crown Court, including John McDonnell, the former Labour Shadow Chancellor. They were met by 12 vans of police officers. A middle-aged man who'd been holding a sign appearing to pledge his support for the proscribed group was put in the back of a police van. The crowd jeered police officers, shouting, "You're complicit in genocide." These people are mad.
Yeah.
But 107 people were arrested for supporting a proscribed terrorist organisation. Well, good. I'm glad to see that things were done. Now, meanwhile, Samuel Corner was sentenced to 7 years and 8 months, including on the count of grievous bodily harm. Charlotte Head, Leona Cameo were each jailed for 5 years for causing criminal damage. Head was also disqualified from driving for 1 year, because she was driving the prison van that the group used as a battering ram.
That's right.
If you're in jail, you can't drive anyway. I don't really get
in our jails. Let's be real.
Let's be fair.
You get given money and directions to the train station.
Fatima Rajwani was jailed for 4 years and 8 months for causing criminal damage. They broke into Elbit Systems factory in Bristol and destroyed equipment in an attempt to shut the operation down. These people are just mad.
Question: why is this not a hate crime? Because that company is Israeli. I'm not having that. This has nothing to do with that.
Yeah. Exactly.
If this was, the other way round, as we always say, I bet you any money that narrative would be everywhere.
Oh, it would.
You'd be targeted because it's, owned and operated by certain people. Again, you also wonder why it's not safe on the streets. 12 vans, probably, 9 officers in each, are here because of this self-indulgent narcissists that takes officers away from actual police work.
Do you know what would be quite nice, actually, now they're all in prison, when they rub up against the Islamists who occupy that same space?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Maybe that's what we need for re-education.
They'll probably all come out the other side as Islamists, won't they? They're practically there anyway if you support Palestine.
No, that's what I'm saying. They actually get to see what they're like.
Yeah. Meet them up close and personal. Enjoy the company. Shall we speak to Paul in South
Yes.
Let us do it. Good morning, Paul. How are you, my darling?
Good morning, Alex. I'm fine. Yourself?
I'm not bad. Not bad. A little bit weary, but I'm OK. I went for dinner last night, and I think I had 1 glass of wine too many, so slightly jaded. But otherwise, I'm very well, young man. What can I do you for?
Young man, good. It was what you were saying about that poor young girl that got unnecessarily stabbed, and the fact that the only chance of salvation that we have is being put at risk by an egotistical old man with a lot of money, without mentioning too many names.
Right. Which one?
Yeah.
Rupert Lowe.
Oh, God. Oh, I'm glad you actually didn't mention his name. I can't bear the thought of him at the moment.
Yeah, it just seems... What is wrong with the man? He's not doing anybody any good. And it's British people are just getting stabbed, sexually assaulted all over the place. And the only chance that we have, he is trying to single-handedly ruin.
I know.
I have to rather disagree.
OK.
Because the question is, why is Rupert Lowe even a thing? That is Reform UK's fault. It's just not difficult to take Rupert Lowe out. He's either an irrelevancy, Rupert Lowe, nobody knows him, he's not a thing, or he's costing you a by-election and the greatest threat to the nation. Which is it? The reality is, Reform should have put Rupert Lowe in the ground, put the knife in, twist so they don't get back up. Everybody knows that in professional politics. Reform
How would they have done it, though? Because the thing is, he seems to have garnered a lot of support through being a martyr.
So why? Yes. Why? Why are people drawn to the narrative? The reality is, when you let people in to Reform UK, who you then said caused all the problems, you then made who's a real conservative narrative, the attack line directed right back at you. You told everybody from 2016 onwards, it's okay to rebel, it's okay to vote however you like. Then you don't run proper campaigns, you have lots of mess. Then people are going to say, well, wait a minute, how are you the real conservatives? This was a predictable tract.
There's a lot of other stuff that's gone on with that party and that man. A lot.
But that's not the reason people put the X in the box.
There's people, but the thing is, it's deeply emotive, but there's not much underneath it. There's a really interesting article in the Telegraph today. I think they've been quite kind, but it is just it's throwaway one-liners that sound really simple. Millions must go. Well, that's great. We can all shout things like that. How are you going to do it?
Well, that question could also be thrown at Reform UK. Where you have public spats between Jenrick and Zia on X. You have Matt Goodwin saying there's original reformers and the Tory reformers. Well, you've got those narratives running around. Again, they could be thrown at both sides. It's not...
That's an absolute load of rubbish, Peter Barnes. There is no spat between the two.
It's not me that said it. It was Matt Goodwin. And he's part of Reform.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Robert Jenrick answered a question how he thought, and Zia Youssef gave him the party line.
So why doesn't the Chancellor know the party line?
People like you that could try to cause division. And if I remember rightly, you were a Tory advisor, weren't you, or some sort?
Robert Jenrick was, the immigration minister that set up asylum hotels. If we're going to start playing that.
So... I mean,
so, you can't hold one person to one standard and one person to another. That's part of why Rupert Lowe is a thing.
I just really hate the fact that we have this stupid situation that we are so close to potentially, and finally, after about a century, getting a proper right-wing government.
Yeah.
And the right-wing are messing it all up.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
We say it all the time, you can't get us in the room and all of us to agree.
Spare me. Anyway, Paul, thank you for your call. Always a pleasure. Should we take a little break? I think it must be break time. Let's do that. Right, that means...
tension bed.
Oh, the World Cup started yesterday. I know. How many teams are participating?
Too many.
Correct. The number will be told to you just after this.
Oh, good question.
Violence on the streets, there's no excuse for that, and if there are protests following this, I just hope that they remain non-violent. I mean, you can understand the community concerns after an attack like that.
People were saying all around the world, that's what British people now think. Have a listen to Rob from yesterday.
Morning, Jez. Well, yes, rightly, you shouldn't condone what happened. What else have people got to do? The political class are not listening. These people who are coming over here illegally, they're rapists, terrorists. They're coming over here, it's literally like putting a wall in a sheep field.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Live on Talk, Alex and Peter being bamboozled by questions.
That was quite shocking, actually.
That was great.
Yeah, I loved it, but also I realised I got the volume turned up really loud.
I think this is my favourite man, because he's our official voiceover man.
I want him to
wonder
follow
what
me
colour
around.
puce he is.
Yes. What? Yeah.
I feel it must take a lot of doing that voice. It's like, whoa, don't give yourself a migraine.
Yeah.
But
Is
we
it medium rare? Rare?
Oh, by the way, if you want to leave any jingles, we're just compiling them. We're going to play them every single advert break. Or tech up. It's obviously, Peter and I don't know how to press buttons and stuff. So if you want to do that, leave us a voice note, 0344 499 1000. Add to the chorus of excellence. Also, you can send a text, 87722, write the word talk before you text, and you can also give us a call on 0344 499 1000. And I love the fact the tension buzz just continued.
Just continued.
Below all of that.
Good old
Everyone's
Ted.
dying to know the answer of how many teams are participating in the World Cup. I've got a lot of how many questions today. I don't know why. How many zeros in a trillion?
Yeah.
How many teams in the World Cup? There's a few more. Anyway, do you know how many?
I don't, but I guess it's something like 40.
Oh, close though, 48.
Really? Oh.
I still find it hilarious that Italy didn't qualify.
Yeah. Again.
Is your other half in?
Yeah,
not
it's
just,
very funny.
Has he banned the World Cup in your house?
Yeah, I told you, whenever he annoys me, I just shout Brexit at him and he runs away.
Right, talking about Brexit, nice little segue there.
Thank you.
Because apparently the BBC is now facing accusations of bias, claiming there was now an accepted view that Brexit had damaged the economy. The corporation said the consensus among economists was that Brexit had had a negative effect on the economy, and there were no significant voices suggesting the effects had been positive or even neutral. What I want to understand is what about Brexit has done that? Because has there really been Brexit?
Yeah.
I haven't noticed it.
I know. What I will say, though, is Brexiteers, we stopped campaigning for Brexit. Remainers never did. We just thought, referendum, one, end of conversation. Remainers didn't stop the conversation. We rather stopped. I think this is actually, again, I think this is our fault. We never continued to push the cause for Brexit.
We didn't keep the pressure on, did we?
Yeah, we didn't. We took our foot off the pedal.
You know, if we get the right government, then we can sort of hopefully play with it a bit more. But then we'll be back in the EU by then, won't we? But even worse still, we're going to be back in the EU, but not technically in the EU legally. So how are we going to have a referendum to get out of it? I suppose that, any government, you can't bind your successor, can you?
No, well, that's the great thing. But the great and the worst thing about Parliament is like Mount Mord. It's like Mordor, isn't it? That anything created there can be destroyed there. That's parliamentary sovereignty, according to Lord of the Rings. But no, again, I think we never really encouraged business to look outside of the EU. That was the big point.
I thought we were I really like the idea of having these tax-free. What are they called? Those free ports. Things like that.
Yeah.
Why couldn't we? Where did they go? That would have been a great idea.
Well, yeah, it was a great idea. We just never followed through with it.
Didn't do anything.
No, we did. On Brexit, again, we got the referendum, we got the result. We had a couple of years where we had a little fight further for it, and then after Brexit happened, we just stopped. We stopped.
The machine is so brazen now, isn't it? The machine, the deep state, whatever you want to call it. It will not stop.
Yeah, it will not stop. The problem is, I think the right has got very kind of complacent on a lot of issues.
I don't think it's so much that it's complacent. I think it's given up. I think it's just got to say, we're not allowed to win. We'll never win. Why keep expending energy? Like I said, at this point, I'm like, I just need a sump for my cellar so I can hide in it.
Yeah, and I think don't forget, that's exactly what they want.
I'll let you come to my cellar when war breaks out.
We'll dig a tunnel.
All the way.
All the way. Like Great Escape.
From Londinium to Corinium. There you go.
But the worst thing about this particular one for the BBC is they had the ex-governor of the Bank of England, some Labour EU guy, and another BBC person. There was absolutely no Brexiteer or anybody vaguely on the right.
Yeah, no one actually there to challenge it by saying, by the way, if we'd actually done Brexity things, it would have been of a great benefit.
And also, nobody's ever challenged any of the economists on were they even correct on any of the forecasts. It might have been, they might argue it's bad, but why? They said that basically the entire sky was going to fall down and everyone was
George Osborne sent that weird letter, didn't he?
Yeah. Why have they never been held accountable for any of the claims? And that is because we've never actually demanded answers for it.
Do you know, let's get nostalgic about some of the best
my best
Brexit
one.
claims.
Everyone's going to get super gonorrhea.
I know, that's right.
Super gonorrhea. Super gonorrhea.
Oh, I was waiting for that one. But yeah.
It's almost as good as the chlorinated chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do you remember that
my
one?
gosh, when they kept banging on about chlorinated chicken.
Yeah, chlorinated
Why
chicken.
are they
As though,
obsessed with
like,
that?
Oh, it's because we got to have a go at Americans.
It's like, oh well, you know, we do a trade deal with America. We're going to be having chlorinated chicken. Oh yeah, don't mind about the donkey meat from the EU. Pfft, nothing to see here.
Not a problem.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Just don't want chicken that's been sort of, you know, had bacteria taken off it. But we like our chicken with salmonella. Thank you.
And then also we wash our salad in the exact same thing.
I know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so mad. That was such a weird. But you know, this is the thing with the left. They just parrot mad lines. They sort of land upon something and will just repeat it ad nauseum, even though it makes no sense.
Because the thing is, at the same time, it was Donald Trump was in his first term. So Trump was the bad guy, therefore America was the bad guy. You can say whatever you like.
This morning I was listening to the BBC, because I always listen to the State programme.
This is why you end up in a grump when you turn up here.
Yes, it's true. That and the migrant speaking down his coffee cup.
Should be listening to Mark Dolan.
Yes, but I always think it's quite useful listening to the BBC because you get the
always
other
keep your eye on
side.
what they're doing.
Always keep your eye on what they're doing. And today you had good old Jeremy Bowen.
Oh God,
the most partial foreign
the guy who
editor.
literally refused to apologise for a false news story because he said, "Well, it could have been true."
But today he was basically sort of doing his spiel about is there going to be a deal between Iran and Russia and and it's sort of covering the points, and he couldn't help himself. At the end he just started having a rant about how what have they even achieved in this war, this dangerous war that's just made such a mess of blah 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 blah. And he's like, really? And I was like, well, Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. I think that's quite a big win.
Yeah.
They barely have a navy. I think that's a big win. They've taken out most of the terrorists of the IRGC. I think that's a big win. And guess what? They did it all without harming civilians. That's a big win. OK, the Strait of Hormuz thing is a bit of a problem, but Iran were always going to play that game. That will get sorted, probably, eventually. We could always drill our own gas and oil to help things. But he was just literally ranting on. It's like, do you work for Iran now?
Oh, I always remember
Like,
when they kind of announced the ceasefire in Israel, Gaza, the woman from the BBC, she looked miserable in Tel Aviv. She looked absolutely miserable, but that the war was over, that she couldn't continue to have a pop at Israel. Yeah, I literally think that's why she was crying. She wasn't happy about peace. She was miserable about it. They are so obsessed with hating on anything that might be positively good because of they don't like Donald Trump, or they don't like Brexit, or they don't like Nigel Farage, or whatever.
They're not allowed on desert island discs. It's like, what? How's that going to harm the nation?
Island.
It'd make the BBC an unsafe place if Nigel Farage
Somebody
told us
might
what
have
his
listened to
favourite
Desert
music
Island
is.
discs for a change.
I'll tell you what you can do, though. I actually did an interview with Nigel on my Substack, and we spoke a lot about what his famous favourite music was, and then started playing tracks while we were talking. So there you go. I basically did my own Desert
I'm curious
Island
as to what he
discs.
picked, actually.
Supertramp.
Oh, really?
He's a big fan of Supertramp.
Well, really? That's almost as good as George Osborne, like in NWA. And, like, gangster rap. Don't remember that one?
No.
David Cameron and George Osborne, I think it was on Desert Island Discs. They said that they were into heavy gangster rap.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
That's a lie. You can tell
fair,
looking at him. He's like, no, he's
Yeah.
not really, is he?
Yeah.
He just said that to try and seem cool.
Yeah, but cool, you know, from that, a bit old school.
Actually, I want to know now what I want to ask like everyone who's in politics, that in a position of power, four vital questions.
Oh,
yeah, but yeah, I wonder what's Starmer's favourite music.
Oh, I think it's just silence, eerily just silent.
No, probably that. What's that blimmin' Labour Party song?
The Red Flag.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was Corbyn's.
Which isn't that the same as Oh Christmas Tree, How Lovely Are Your Branches?
I think it is, yeah.
That confuses me. Why are they the same? It's a bit like when people graduate in America and they do it to Ode to Joy. Well, it's not Ode to Joy. It's one of ours. One of our things.
It's not the national. No, it's not the national anthem.
No.
It is. Like is it Rule Britannia? No. Land of Hope and Glory.
It's one of our things, but I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, but one of them is basically it is the same. kind of melody, isn't it?
So this is our bonus quiz question.
If anybody can text in and help us.
When Americans graduate, what is the music that's played?
Yeah,
I Bow to Thee, My Country. Maybe it's that.
It could be.
I think it's that.
Ironically, can
we've got to get a quick quiz question in.
Can we do an inverse phone a friend? Yes, okay.
Got 20 seconds.
Yep.
Tension bed.
Tension bed. Go
The
on.
Pope is visiting the Canary Islands. How many islands are there in the Canary Islands? Well, I did that too quickly. We've now got about 15 seconds to fill. Well, that didn't work out. Anyway, don't go anywhere because I'll be letting you know how many islands there are in the Canary Islands just after this. See you in a moment.
I've got some breaking news here. The Crowborough Army Training Camp could hold male asylum seekers all the way until 2030 after the Home Office claimed it would only be for 12 months. Not much ambition involved in that, is there, in terms of solving the migrant crisis?
Absolutely, and the way that the Labour government gaslit the public when the migrants were first moved in there, saying, you know, you guys are absolutely being mad. Crowborough is a quiet, leafy town in East Sussex. These people, you can see, have been pushed to their absolute limit. They're not the types that you usually see protesting about this sort of thing. But that town has been absolutely desecrated.
You're ruining the country. Get Keir Starmer out. Look, England flags. You're useless. Labour Party's useless.
I love our country. And one of the things about our country is good manners. Not very British.
What Labour advisor thought she wasn't going to be heckled at a petrol station in Leeds? Do these politicians actually ever get out and understand what it's like for real working class people? I thought it was British to exercise a right to free speech. That's what Keith Stalin told Trump. That's what White Van Man was exercising yesterday to Richard III. Oh yes, I remember. We're not really allowed our right to free speech in case we criticise the government.
You can't blame people so many decades away from you for the chaos that has been caused by Labour.
This is cheap politics, isn't it, Syrian?
Well, it's stupid politics. I mean, who raised national insurance on part-time workers? Labour. Who's been the stupid people that have wandered down the road and increased taxes on businesses and on individuals? Labour.
A lot of people get very frustrated, especially when the government says, oh, free school meals, you know, for every kid, not just the kids who really need them, free bus passes, free this, free that. None of it's free. It's subsidised and paid for by the taxpayer. And we're in this constant situation where the government's answer to everything is tax us a bit more, take more of our money, and then give some more of it away generously. It's our sodding money they're giving away.
Yeah, exactly. And it's either someone else's money today, another taxpayer, or even worse, it's the money from our future selves. And
across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Morning, welcome to the best show on radio, Barnsley and Phillips.
That's still my favourite. I like the way he says Barnsley in his accent. It's just beautiful. Barnsley.
Sounds like he's like Barnsley.
Love it. That is one of the best. All right.
Tension bed.
Okay, how many... So the Pope is visiting the Canary Islands. We're going to be talking about that shortly with Philip Kisley. I want to know how many islands are there in the Canary Islands. Right, come on, let's see what you can name. Have you been there?
I've been to Lanzarote.
Love lambs.
I think you've got Tenerife.
Lambs.
Fuerteventura.
Tens.
Gran Canaria.
Fuerts. Grands.
How many is that?
1, 2, 3, 4.
I could say there's 6 altogether, isn't there? Ow.
There's 8.
8?
Yeah. Everyone, yeah, but see, I could do 2 more. I could do El Hierro.
Oh, yes.
I forget that. And the one that sounds like gonorrhea. Gomera. La Gomera.
Oh, right. Oh, is that there?
That is there.
Oh.
And then, apparently, so there's a 7th one, I don't know that one. And then they've just made Graciosa an official extra island.
Oh.
Yeah,
what was it before?
Which is the bit off the top of Lanzarote that's
Oh, so we're bringing back, colonisation now.
I've been to Lanzarote so many times. I've not made it over to that Graciosa yet.
Yeah.
But we're missing one. But anyway, there are 8.
8?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, and there's lots of other little bits and bobs, but 8 main ones that you can live on. That you can stay there.
Yeah. I knew there was more, I know people always do 3, and then everyone forgets what else is actually around there.
I mean, the big boys are Lanz, Tenerife, Fuerteventura and Gran Canaria.
Yeah.
Then the others are those other ones.
Yeah, reservists.
Yeah. The other ones.
Yeah.
Right, a brilliant old tech op has brought in Sir Keir Starmer's list from Desert Island Discs.
I know, it's made me very unhappy.
I felt a little bit sick come the end.
Yeah.
Well, you made me be sick a little
I mean,
bit
if I felt terrible, you had to feel terrible as well.
So this one is Out on the Floor by Dobie Gray. Do you know it?
I don't, yeah. I know the artist, but I don't know.
Oh, I don't know what that is. Symphony No. 6 in F major.
It's the Pastoral.
Pastoral Symphony by Beethoven.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to My World by Jim Reeves.
I don't want to welcome to him. I don't want to be in his world.
No, don't get out of my world.
Yeah.
Falling and Laughing by Orange Juice.
Is that what we're doing when we look at him? Falling and laughing?
Well, I'm not laughing, son. Oh Happy Day by the Edwin Hawkins Singers.
That seems a little on the nose.
Yeah. It was all sounding a bit too white up until that point, wasn't it?
The
He had to
next
put some
one's a great
diversity in. Three Lions by Baddiel and Skinner. Of course, he had to put that in there.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Piano Concerto No. 5, second movement, Adagio un poco mosso by Beethoven, performed by Jean-Eflain Bavuzet and the Swedish Chamber Orchestra. And then this one.
Yeah.
I can't. It started off well. I went Bridge Over Troubled Water, and I was like, oh, what a great song.
Finally, a decent one.
By Artists for Grenfell featuring Stormzy. I've never heard that rendition of Bridge Over Troubled Water. I never want to hear it.
I like to think that my brain turned my ears off if that was ever around.
Yeah, please don't expose me to it.
Isn't it 10 years? Is it pretty soon?
It's still there, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm sure it's the anniversary of it pretty soon.
It's 2016 it was.
Yeah.
Because I was living in Kenya at the time.
It was just after the general election when Theresa May won.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what his book choice is? A very detailed atlas. That's not going to help you when you're stuck on a desert island, mate. How boring can you be?
A very detailed atlas. Of course he was that kid. He's got the atlas out of the library.
Why would you not? Anyway. And his luxury item is football. Oh, probably got more personality than him. There we go.
Again, that's just made me very unhappy.
We also, by the way, we have a little bit of breaking news, just to add misery to misery. A 14-year-old boy is among 3 teenagers who have been arrested on suspicion of murdering a 21-year-old man in an Essex park. Emergency services were called to Central Park in Chelmsford at around 7 p.m. yesterday evening, where the 21-year-old victim was found with critical injuries. An Essex police spokesman said the man died at the scene despite the efforts of paramedics to save him. 3 suspects, 14, 17 and 18, were arrested shortly after and remain in custody for questioning. The kids stabbing dogs.
Yeah.
I just can't. Right. Shall we cheer ourselves up by speaking to Philip Kisserly?
Oh, he does. Yes, he cheers me up very much.
Hey, Philip, how are you doing?
Hi, both. You all right?
Well, no.
Not really. Are you
miserable.
okay?
I'm all right. I was just listening. I was just laughing at your infinite disappointment while you were reading out Keir Starmer's musical choices there. It was just wonderful. Apart from Dobie Gray, of course, which is one of the classic Northern Soul dance tunes. Is a fantastic song. But yeah, I'm with you with all of that. It was so disappointing, but that's precisely what you expect. And of course, you mentioned gonorrhea. Who wants gonorrhea on a Saturday morning?
Brexit gonorrhea, especially supersonic Brexit gonorrhea.
I'm a gonorrhea. Yeah, indeed.
Let's talk about the government planning to intensify a crackdown on illegal migrants in Northern Ireland. Do you know what I find with this blimmin' government is something awful has to happen when they'll have information intelligence all along that's clearly, because there can't be any hard border in Northern Ireland, for ages people have been coming over that border, illegals. Yeah. And now it's, oh, wow, now someone's almost been beheaded, we better do something about that.
Well, it's their use of language, isn't it? You know, intensify the what crackdown? There has been no crackdown. Nobody knows of any kind of crackdown, and this is what we have. So they just play with language, invert reality, and we're so used to it. We're so conditioned to living in this fantasy world of diversity is our strength, and the government are out to protect us, and they're doing all that they can, and all of that kind of stuff. It just feels as though the task of dealing with this stuff, dealing with their not only their lies but their gaslighting, is gargantuan, and I think that's what's demoralising to many people. I mean, I was just thinking about what happened in Belfast there, and it seems to them that, you know, beheading is regrettable, but tweets are unforgivable, and this use of language that they invert reality, and now it's all about the far right. So the narrative moves over to this mythical far right, and there is a far right, but it's not, you know, not the vast majority of people in Belfast who are just terrified, angry, and confused that all of a sudden they live in a community where people are having their eyes gouged out in the street, where they're being ritually maimed and slaughtered. So all of this stuff is really huge, and it keeps coming back for me to their use of language. And what they're trying to do, quite obviously, is just try and keep a lid on everything on a day-by-day basis. And it really is about who's going to kick off first. We must appease them, and it's obviously going to be, you know, the extreme leftist, Islamist kind of hate march lobby. They'll kick off over anything, whereas decent people kind of don't really, you know. So they'll kind of blame the decent people until they have to do something else. And I'm just sick of it. I'm so demoralised by it, and it feels as though something desperately needs to be done.
Yeah.
But we need to change the whole ethos. It's not just about stopping the boats or doing this or doing that. It's about acknowledging, describing the terrible situation we're in around mass immigration, saying that they got it wrong. The whole philosophy is just completely poisonous, and we have to invert it and essentially close the borders and crack down, and properly crack down, and do the things that they're supposed to do. But they're never going to do that, because if they do that, they admit that they've got it wrong, that it's cost lives, and that it's ruined our society. So they're never ever going to do that.
Joe, we brought you on to try cheer us up. You're not doing a good job of that, Philip, if I can just say. Let's talk about the Pope. Out he's wheeled. Out he's wheeled. Can't he just do popey things in Pope Land? Why does he have to go and, like, you know, start banging on about everyone's a migrant? All of us are migrants, is what he said. During his week-long tour of Spain, he landed in Tenerife to go and visit some sort of migrant centre. Brilliant. It's a former military barracks which houses as many as 4,000 people, and he went to address all of the migrants there. Mate, they're probably Muslim. Just, you know, quick words of Pope. Probably not your religion. Just guessing. But
Not
anyway,
your customer base. Yeah, come on.
yeah, actually convert them all. That would be a good idea. He said yesterday's foreigner may be today's brother and neighbour. No, yesterday's foreigner might be tomorrow's blimmin' murderer.
Oh,
that's the point.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Alex. That's exactly what I was going to say, because that's the point, isn't it? You know, and he's saying that everyone's a migrant on their pilgrimage to heaven. You know, I mean, oh God, you know, imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. You know, no hell below us, Alex, above us only. It's that nonsense. It doesn't mean anything. It's drivel. You know, and he's talking about our collective conscience as well. You know, the fact that we should welcome, you know, people from Afghanistan, Eritrea and Somalia, you know, with the percentage of potential rapists through the roof. And if we don't do that, then we should look to our consciences. Is he mad? Seriously, is he mad? Does he not care about women and children? This whole, open borders, hippy-dippy nonsense. I know it's framed in religion, but it's the same thing, isn't it? We know because every single story tells us that this is not only not working, it's massively dangerous to us. And not only that, it's taking away our hope for a future. This isn't just now, tomorrow. I'm not going to cheer you up here, Alex. This is going to be pretty bad. Right, it's not now, it's not tomorrow, it's next week. It's for the next generation at least. We've got to sort this out. At least is the key word there, or key word.
Do you know, I'm reading this article in The Guardian, which is triggering enough.
Listen to the BBC, reading The Guardian.
I know.
I mean, Alex, come on.
I know. Well, yeah, it's funny sometimes, The Guardian. But anyway, I've just circled a bit, which has really angered me. So apparently it says in The Guardian here, rights campaigners have widely criticised hardline measures with the EU's landmark overhaul of migration. What hardline measures? What landmark overhaul of migration? Did I miss that one? But then... I wasn't aware that there was some sort of hardline measures to tackle migration in the EU. But this is the bit that I think is... This bit got stuck in my craw. His calls to protect the rights of migrants has clashed with the rhetoric espoused by many politicians, particularly from far-right parties, who have taken a hard line on migrants, even as they profess to hold Christian values, writes Ashifa Kassam. I'm sorry... How dare you judge somebody as being non-Christian because they want to tackle illegal migration? What does it say in the Bible about, oh, yeah, let's have all our borders open? As someone who's closely acquainted with the Bible and working my way through the Old Testament, doesn't always appear that welcoming about the idea of open borders and, everyone can all mix together. Yes, I know, Jesus was a refugee when he was a kid over in Egypt, but it was still all part of the Roman Empire back then. But anyway, it's just, I dare whoever that Ashifa Kassam is, who I'm going to guess, I don't know, but I'm going to guess she probably isn't a Christian. How dare she speculate on whether right-wingers have Christian values when they say they're Christian? How dare she? The Guardian hates religion. The Guardian hates Christianity. It hates everything cultural about this country. So don't you come and say to Christians that they're not allowed to want to control our borders. How dare they?
Well, you can almost hear the smirk in those words, can't you? There's, you see it's so disingenuous. You see what this person is trying to do, and everybody will, all of the political fellow travellers will just jump on board, and all of a sudden those people are talking about Christianity. Alex, those people haven't thought about Christianity ever in their lives before. It's just another vehicle with which to assault ordinary people, to castigate them as far right. It means nothing. The words are meaningless. And here's the problem with all of this stuff, I think, right? If you keep saying that everybody is racist and everybody is far right, then everybody stops, quite rightly, everybody stops listening, and the real neo-Nazis get away with it. Okay, and I think that's something that is becoming really, really important in our political landscape, because we are seeing that horseshoe of extreme right and extreme left coming together with Islamism kind of binding them together as well. So I think we're in a really, really difficult and dangerous situation, because our political landscape now is characterized by extremism, with ordinary people in the middle being castigated as extremists when they are not. But we're looking at, The Guardian and organs like that, which are just spouting this extremist drivel. This is what happens when you have a sectarian society. This is what happens when things are balkanized. All of a sudden, you're talking in very simplistic, very extreme narratives and tropes. And we never used to do that. It used to be about, one, it used to be about nuance, but two, it used to be about this country and the specific, the specific problems and issues within this country. Now it's all about Palestine. Now it's all about attacking Israel. Now it's all about Africa and all of that kind of stuff, because essentially our population is changing, and the values of much of our population, not just in terms of demographics, but in terms of extreme politics, are very different to the values we've always had, certainly in the post-war era, which has been about democracy, decency, fairness, and actually Christian values.
Exactly. Someone's just messaging saying the Pope can invite these people into the Vatican and into his palace. Catholic Church has got enough money. They want to sort out putting roofs over their heads and providing aid and all the other things he said. Go on then. Crack on, would you? It's not like the Vatican's short of a bob or two.
No, but of course they will never do that, because these people are absolute hypocrites. It's when you see, the Queers for Palestine, and you see the, all immigrants welcome feminists on the borders waving their rainbow flags and welcoming every single, the dregs of humanity into the country, and not knowing who the hell they are, where they've been, or what's going to happen. They're not going to put them in their own homes. You know what I mean? They're not going to have them in their own communities, because their communities will be extremely, they'll be rich, they'll be half the time they'll be in gated communities. You know what I mean? These people are middle class, upper middle class, very privileged. It's the working class who always have to deal with this stuff. It's the working class who are always at the sharp end, Alex, always, and it just makes you sick.
Really does. Oh, let's talk now.
I've not cheered you up.
No.
I haven't cheered you up.
No.
I'll say. Can I just say Banzai? How about that? Does that cheer you up?
Yeah, that'll do.
I'm doing my best here. I'm doing my best here.
There's something about my nickname in a like a slight Yorkshire accent. Banzai.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Well, when I was at school, I used to get Kizza. Kizza. Yeah, that was it. I like Banzai.
Banzai. It's a great name. Do you want to talk about the fact that migrants have been booted out of the Bell Hotel? Not because anyone won their appeals to get them out, but apparently it's not safe enough for them because it failed its fire inspection or something.
Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me at all. It's the sheets probably aren't soft enough. That Egyptian cotton probably isn't quite new enough, or there aren't as many threads as there should be. So no, we're not giving them enough money. We're not doing well by them. This is the kind of stuff that you
Where have they gone? That's what I want to know.
This is the real narrative. This is the real narrative. But the thing is, again, all they are doing actually, they are governing by the hour, and they're looking at the situation, I think, and thinking, well, is this going to kick off because it's just completely unacceptable? Well, it might be. Then we'll use some kind of excuse. We just have to accept that they are always going to lie to us. That they're just going to gaslight. They're just going to get by as much as they can because they know they've messed up. They've messed up on a gargantuan scale, as I said before, that is almost taking our society and rubbishing it. And
almost. It is.
Well,
yeah.
No,
there's no almost about it.
No. Well, I try and retain some hope that we can actually do something about that. Because if you don't, because if you don't, you just fall into a hole of despondency, and you have to, and you don't do anything. So you have to be motivated to say that eventually things might have to get a whole lot worse, but eventually things might just get better. And I look at young people, and I've got real hope with some young people. I taught young people for 25 years. There are some amazing young people out there, and it probably is down to them at this stage in the game. But you do have to retain some hope, or else there's just no point to any of it.
That's true. That is very true. Philip, thank you ever so much. We'll try and maintain some hope. We love Philip.
Yes,
brilliant,
definitely.
Philip. Kizzo.
Well, it's the story of Pandora's box, isn't it? There's the actual ending of Pandora's box that nobody ever talks about. Is that yes, she let all the evils out into the world, but what was left at the bottom of the box? Hope.
Oh,
there you go. That's the point of the story.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Tension bed.
Today is the King's official birthday. There you go, Trooping of the Colours happening, which is actually fake news. It's disinformation birthday.
Oh, yes, I had to explain that this morning. I've explained that this
morning.
Did
you always have the disinformation birthday?
No, I think you get it when you're the monarch.
And is it the same day?
I see. That's the bit I didn't get a chance to Google because I'd like to know if it's the same day.
I want to know whether it's the same as the Queen's. sort of. Anyway, I want to know when his actual birthday is and how old he is.
Oh, I don't know.
I want to know. Well, we'll go with month. Month might do.
Yeah, no,
because
month.
if you actually know his actual birthday, I'll be worried about you. But I want to know his age as well. Birth date and age. All right, we'll let you know just after this.
Violence on the streets, there's no excuse for that, and if there are protests following this, I just hope that they remain non-violent. I mean, you can understand the community concerns after an attack like that.
People were saying all around the world that's what British people now think. Have a listen to Rob from yesterday.
Morning, Jez. Well, yes, rightly, you shouldn't condone what happened. What else have people got to do? The political class are not listening. These people who are coming over here illegally, they're rapists, terrorists. They're coming over here. It's literally like putting a wolf in a sheep field.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Alex Phillips on a Saturday on Talk.
I remember that one.
I love
It's
that
the
one.
I remember that one.
Do you remember the one at the end goes beep?
Was there a beep?
I think there was someone said beep at the end.
I remember the who.
Because
we couldn't decide whether she meant it or she fell over.
Or whether she, was a bit hungover and it was last night's Sambuca coming back.
Are you projecting?
Do you know, blimmin' Dean? You know Dean.
Yes, yeah.
He'll be sitting out there now. Wait a minute. He'll come storming through to the gallery. I can actually see him rising from his chair. I can see the reflection of Dean rising from the chair in the glass of the gallery. He'll be in a minute. We went out. He basically gate crashed my afternoon drinks with my best mate Belinda. Girly. And she's like, oh yeah, son, can I come along? I've got to go to bed at 3 because I'm producing breakfast dinner or just a couple of drinks. Blimmin', he's there until 6 o'clock and he's trying to get rounds of Sambucas. I'm like, Dean, no.
No,
Dean.
No, Dean. Sounds like he's a dog.
I think Luke is bolting the door of the gallery so he can't get in. Thanks, Luke. Blimmin' Dean. Anyway, today is the King's official birthday, his fake news birthday. There he is.
There he is. Yeah,
you get in here. I think you should come in here so that people can see you. Yeah. He needs to come with hazard tape, that man. When is his actual birthday? How old is he? That's what I want to know.
It's November.
Oh, it is November. Good.
And I think he's 80.
He's 77.
Oh, I'm close.
77. 14th of November.
Yes,
He's 77 years old. So there you go. Oh, by the way, we didn't tell everyone. We found out what the graduation music was.
Yes,
but we enjoyed that fact all to ourselves. We didn't share. So when Americans graduate, their sort of graduation music is weirdly Land of Hope and Glory.
Yeah. And I call it quiet imperialism that we never let go.
I know. So we were just sort of enjoying during the advert break the idea of all these sort of Marxist, BLM students, graduating in critical race theory to our music. Elgar.
To a song that is basically, the embodiment of colonialism.
Yeah, beautiful.
Love it. I love that. Now that has cheered me up.
That was, that is amazing.
Yes.
Thank you, my darling.
Amazing.
There we go. Got some lovely drinks here. I need this one.
Yeah.
Cheers, lad.
Cheers.
Get your coffee down, yeah. Right, OK, should we do a caller?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Let's speak to Ava, who's in Kent. Good morning, Ava.
Good morning, Alex. How are you?
All right, now I've got a bit of mocha in the hand.
Bless you. OK, so, Ava, I'm from South Africa. I think you can hear my really Cape Townian accent. And the reason I'm phoning is I'm completely with you. I'm completely with you. In fact, I love listening to what you have to say because I think, girl, you go, girl. If I could get a radio station going, I think I would probably be sitting beside you going, yes, yes, all the way. Look, I've lived through 2 civil wars. I'm in my 50s. I'm not going to give my whole age away. One in Rhodesia, Zimbabwe, and then again in South Africa. Because of the crime that had escalated exponentially in South Africa, we made a decision as a family in 2013 to get out. Fortunately for us, my father was British born, they all served in, the World War II, they're all RAF, so we were lucky to come over. I thought we were lucky to come over. I'm sitting here today, 13 years on, and I think, dear God, what have we done?
Well, this is the thing. South Africa was supposed to be this sort of great rainbow nation, an example to the world.
Exactly. Now we can't go back because crime there is still exponentially out of control. There's xenophobia that's going on there. I'm sitting here. I now have 2 adult children. I have 2 grandchildren, and I'm thinking, what now? Where do we go?
Yeah. Well, apparently you can go to America. I think Donald Trump is the only refugees that Donald Trump has allowed into America in recent times are the white farmers of South Africa. And again, underreported. We never find any information on that on the BBC.
Yeah, I'm not a farmer, so they won't take me. And because I live in a safe country now, I'm now a British citizen.
I don't think you do live in a safe country. I think that's easy.
No. Just bear with me. Where do we go? I just don't know what to do. I love this country. We've completely integrated. I mean, I was brought up British thinking. I've got my A levels. I've got my O levels. I mean, I went through Cambridge certification. When I came over here for work, everybody was looking at me like, where did you get this from? I said, Rhodesia, Zimbabwe. And then here we sit, and I think, God, what do I do? I love this country. I want to be here. I want to stay here. I don't want to move. But, I mean, I'm in Kent, so I'm not far from the coastline, if you get my picture.
No, exactly. And I know a lot of people who are Kentish, and, the amount of commuters that have drastically changed in Kent is heartbreaking. But, I hear everything you're saying, and... we keep pretending that it's not a problem, that actually there's no issue here, there isn't, the racism only goes from white to black. We're not even, have you noticed, by the way, we're not even allowed to use our own language because you're not allowed to call when, there's a discrimination against white people. We don't get to call it racism. We can only call it two-tier. Isn't it funny?
Yeah.
We don't get to call it prejudice or discrimination or racism.
Let me throw a spanner in the wheelworks. I'm Christian, which I know you are too. And when I moved over here and I had my first job at a school, I'm not going to say which one, I was asked or told that apparently because I appear, bear in mind I'm actually mixed race, okay, I appear to be of the lighter colour, that I'm a racist because I come from South Africa. So it's very difficult. I think us South Africans between a wall and a hard place. I mean, I'm half Lebanese, okay? Yes, I do have on my mom's side like English, British, but I'm not actually white.
But there you go. I mean, Lebanon, another dire warning to the West of what happens when you don't control borders, when you allow Islamists to take hold. It's funny. I mean, it's often massively underreported what goes on against white people. In black African countries, particularly. So when I used to live in Kenya, there were attacks on the white farmers in Laikipia being carried out. And we forget that actually there are a great many white Kenyans. There are people who are British who have been born and brought up for generations in Kenya. But it's interesting, isn't it? They would never be allowed to be called Kenyans by any sort of standard by the BBC or anyone like that because they're white. And yet, if you come over here and you're born here and you're not white, then of course you're British. Which I agree with that. I think if you're born and raised in a country and you hold that passport for that country, that is your nationality. It's not your heritage, it's not your ethnicity, it's your nationality. But it's interesting that they probably wouldn't apply the same rule to white Kenyans. They probably wouldn't call them Kenyans.
No, and it's the same as South Africa now. We don't even know with what's going on in South Africa what is going to materialize out of this xenophobia. They too are up in arms about illegal migrants. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the reports. So where do we fit in? I don't know. But I tell you what, I don't want to move. I love this country. I'm completely integrated. But all my children work in government services. One of them is a police person. Hello, we're here to serve.
Yeah. Well, we don't want you to go either, and especially with your beautiful accent, can I just say? My brother's in-laws are from Zimbabwe, Rhodesia. Both of them medics, and I love listening to them talk.
Yes.
It's just gorgeous. Such a wonderful
Anyway,
accent.
my lovely, you keep going and just stay strong and stay safe, and please just watch your back.
No, I will do. Next time there's a migrant sort of chuntering to himself in a coffee cup, I'll pick up my pace. Ava, thank you ever so much. It's been a delight speaking to you. If you want to be like Ava and have a chat with Barnes and I, then the number is 03444991000. It's your normal network rate as well, so it doesn't cost you anything to keep us company and cheer us up today. You can also send us a WhatsApp message, or better still, leave us a voice note on WhatsApp, and we will, Tech Up will get it all cut and put in his sort of transmogrifying buttony system, and it will come out on the airwaves and we can all enjoy. You can also send us a text message, 87722. If you text, you've got to write talk before you message. Should we do a couple more messages while we're at
just
it?
on with what you're saying about you talk about the use of language. We have to stop saying anti-white and we have to start calling it racism.
It is racism.
We have to start,
When you have a situation where you can't apply for a job, again, they say it's positive discrimination. Only apply for this job if you're black or Asian.
It's not positive discrimination.
No,
it's
discrimination. It basically says you're not allowed to apply for this job if you're white.
Yeah.
It is racism.
It's racism. It is the definition of it.
It is indeed. All right. Shall we? Oh, we messages then. Quiz.
Yeah.
Starmer's favourite music is radio static. So
that's funny.
Starmer's favourite book should be 1984. He should read it and digest.
Well, he did. As I always say,
it's
a warning, not an instruction manual.
The further left the government goes, the more centralists move to the right. Labour are lost, incompetent and dishonest. That's the thing I always say in politics. It's almost like Newton's, whatever it is, law of whatever.
Oh,
the
equal reaction.
Yeah, every force has an equal and opposite force. It's true. The more left-wing things get, the more right-wing things get.
Yeah. It's also the same. It's also the nature of balls of vacuum. Politics are balls of vacuum as well, and it's often filled by the people that you don't want filling the vacuum.
Yeah. I mean, I do think what's going on in Northern Ireland is harrowing. Harrowing.
And also, can we please start talking about Northern Ireland like it's part of the UK?
Yeah.
I mean, did we learn nothing after the Brexit years?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Barry is in Northern Ireland. He says, I'm in Northern Ireland, Alex. Didn't appreciate being lectured to by the PSNI Chief Constable. Another woke fool who is completely immune from illegal immigration. Stick to operational matters and keep your nose out of politics.
Yeah.
True, with all police.
Yeah.
Just don't mess with it. Don't do
that's why London's in such a mess. They wandered straight into the political arena, having no idea what they're actually doing. Tension bed.
Donald Trump turns 80 this year.
That's incredible.
I know. But when is his birthday? That's not
just people's birthdays.
When is his birthday? There's a good chance I feel like this was very gettable. This is quiz of the news, remember?
Yes, the news.
So, it's clearly not December,
I just presumed every day was his birthday.
I don't know why I'm giving you clues all of a sudden. This is rogue. Anyway, we'll let you know when Donald Trump's birthday is just after this.
across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Alex Phillips on a Saturday on Talk with Riff from Hater, Peter Pan's potato. What a doc!
I remember that one. I was like, I know this voice. Why don't I like this one? And then, there it is.
I love the what a dog. That was amazing. Thank you very much. Loved it.
Oh, tension bed.
Right, the Donald turns 80. When?
June.
Correct. When?
Yeah. Something like, I'd say 26th. Don't know.
Tomorrow!
Oh, right, okay.
Yay!
Oh, right.
We should have a special party. I might buy some fondant fancies. I like those.
Yeah, I do, but
they
that
called
seems
French
strange.
fancies now.
It seems a strange thing to buy for an American president's birthday.
Well, they're just little cakes, aren't they?
Yeah, but, you get, like, I don't know, something vaguely American.
Oh.
I just thought,
suppose.
yeah, it is.
Yeah. No.
Oh,
I like fondant fancies.
I like
I'm not a big cake eater, but a fondant fancy.
Oh, yeah.
It tickles my fancy.
That got away from you.
Because it's sort of it's lemony, and basically my
anything
rule of
lemony.
desserts is that unless they're lemony, I don't want it.
Marks and Spencer's lemon drizzle cake.
Ooh.
Oh, I tell you now.
Is that good? I love a lemon shortbread, me.
Oh, yes. There's something about lemon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I want a lemon shortbread now. Wonder if Big Phil's got lemon shortbread. Shall we ask him?
Yeah.
It's the brilliant Philip Ingram, of course, a former senior military intelligence officer. How you doing, Phil?
Hey, good morning, Alex. Long time no see. And no, I don't have any lemon shortbread.
Where's your cool background gone? You've gone very dark there, Phil.
Well, it has gone. They've framed me to take some of the background out.
Oh, I see. Oh,
I know.
that looks quite, looks like you're sitting in a sort of morgue or something. Maybe it's the morgue of Britain. You've got the Union flag there as well.
I think we're getting to that position at the moment.
We're close. We're definitely close. And don't you worry about it, because when we're invaded, we're not going to be able to defend ourselves, it seems to me. Talk to me about this 10 million shortfall in... 10 billion, sorry. 10 million would be anything. 10 billion shortfall in funding to the military, which caused these resignations.
Well, it was only going to be a 10 billion shortfall if John Healey got the 18 billion that he was after, because the defence chiefs have said that the bit that's missing at the moment to allow defence to do what it should be doing today is actually 28 billion. And whenever Rachel Reeves only offered 10 billion of new money, she dressed it up to be 13.5 billion, then John Healey had no option but to resign. And Al Cairns, one of his ministers, resigned with him and then made a statement about the Northern Ireland Legacy Bill at the same time. So this is very, very big juju for Keir Starmer, but it's virtually impossible for Dan Jarvis, who is taking over as the Secretary of State for Defence, to be able to do anything unless he gets more money.
I mean, what does this mean now for the forces? One assumes this is going to have to lead to swinging cuts.
Well, there's swinging cuts happening at the moment, and that's the reality. The government is lying to us when it says it's increasing defence funding. It's putting more money into defence, but it's asking defence to do more. So defence is now paying for all of the intelligence services. Defence is paying for infrastructure to be built. The town centre of Barrow and Furness was refurbished using MOD money, or money that was allocated to the MOD, because there just happens to be some submarine building going on in there, but that's nothing to do with the town centre.
That's mad.
And we're getting, this is creative accounting, I think you'd call it, if anyone else was doing that. And therefore, it's not just this government that's let defence fall by the wayside, but unfortunately under this government, the threat has changed. The situation is much worse. And Keir Starmer turned around and made the political decision to hold a strategic defence review, which he then came out, and that was over a year ago, he then came out and said, we've accepted all of the recommendations. Well, he then hasn't funded all of the recommendations, so he hasn't accepted any of them. So again, he's lied to the country. I mean,
what sticks in my craw the most is this 10 billion that was supposed to be going extra to defence. Is it basically exactly the same amount as what we spend per annum on foreigners receiving benefits? It is maddening. What's going to go on with Tempest, by the way, this sort of fifth generation hybrid fighter drone jet brilliant little thing, because it's reported that that project may well now be cancelled. I can't imagine how Italy and Japan's going to react.
Well, Italy and Japan will go off and do something else. This will have a massive impact on our aerospace industry, and it'll cost lots of jobs. It'll cost lots of technical know-how. It'll cost lots of places in colleges and universities and apprenticeships for youth coming through, and will lead to a lack of growth across the country. So it's everything that the Chancellor is saying that she wants, she's going to undo by not funding defence. You could fund defence easily tomorrow. There's £13.6 billion given to Ed Milliwatt with his silly net zero department. That could be, politically, if they still want to do that, they could park it until the fiscal conditions are right and reallocate that £13.6 billion to defence. There's an increase in £42 billion going into benefits. Well, they could turn around and say, let's instead of doing £42 billion, let's do £21 billion. That's still increasing benefits, but there's £21 billion that could be given to defence. And that's just thinking through two departments. And of course, the Ministry of Defence has to make itself more efficient because it's got so many projects wrong. But that should be imposed on the Ministry of Defence rather than ask the Ministry of Defence to sort itself out. You could get round this quite easily.
This is the crazy thing. When it comes to defence, it actually helps create industry and jobs. We were told, weren't we, with net zero, we're going to get all these green jobs, which doesn't happen because that money just goes to China, basically. But with defence, actually, if we did bolster our arms manufacturers, gives us soft power, gives us actual hard power, creates a load of jobs downflow, but also just increasing our armed forces back to the levels even of the 1980s would solve problems for a lot of communities where young men are sitting there twiddling their thumbs because they got no work.
Oh, very much so. It would create jobs both within the military and, as you say, through defence industry and everything else. That would then give the foundation for growth to come in. But it would also then lead to lots of things that would benefit society. We're sitting broadcasting this over the worldwide interweb. Well, that was invented as a defence project. You were sitting here. I've got LED lighting that's keeping me lit in my home office. That was invented by the Defence Scientific and Technical Laboratories in the UK. We are brilliant at doing this. Defence helps everyone in their day-to-day life, and this is where the Chancellor is extremely naive by not giving the money to defence to fix the disaster that the current government inherited. But she's not even trying to fix it. She's making it worse.
Yeah, she makes everything worse. Tim Berners-Lee, wasn't it, who invented the internet? It's amazing. I forget that. Britain, we used to invent everything. We used to be so good. Now look at us. Talk to me about Iran, finally. Is there a deal? Is there not a deal? My read on this, and, correct me if I'm wrong, is I would imagine that there are elements in Iran with a bit of common sense, a degree of common sense, who would want to sit down and negotiate. But there are going to be elements of the IRGC that don't. So they're going to keep chucking missiles and drones around the place.
Yeah, the Iranians think differently to us, and they're thinking in much longer term time frames. Donald Trump is thinking about his 80th birthday tomorrow, as you pointed out, and his midterm elections. The Iranians are thinking in generations. So, Donald Trump started something that he has not finished. He needed to finish the IRGC and the Iranian government in every element before he then started to negotiate with them. They now know that they can control Donald Trump and control the rest of the world by opening and closing the Strait of Hormuz. So there could be some form of settlement, but that is not a peace deal at the moment. But that is not going to be the end of this. Iran has suddenly become emboldened and go, right, now, we're going to start getting this. And if we don't get it, we're going to close the Strait of Hormuz. And you're not doing anything about it. So we're going to see more bombing. We're going to see fuel prices going up and down and up and down. And we're going to be in a worse position.
Do you think there's still scope that there could be a sort of escalation with even ground troops deployed? I ask you because I keep my eye on what's going on down the road for me in Fairford. And there's still an awful lot of young American men in the pubs.
There will be. There won't be ground troops in mainland Iran. That is a complete disaster. I've planned operations looking at the potential for that, and it's virtually impossible, even if we brought every NATO country together with everything that they've got. But there's a possibility on, Donald Trump said he wanted to get Karg Island. There's a number of other islands that could be captured to send a message to Iran. But Karg Island is no good unless you can open the Strait of Hormuz. So that's the critical bit. So I don't see troops being on the ground anytime soon. But what Donald Trump needs to do is go and finish the job that he started. Otherwise, he shouldn't have started in the first place.
I'd quite like to see him finish the job he started. Although, do you think... I was moaning earlier, listening to the BBC, and Jeremy Bowen was having an absolute rant about, oh, what a terrible war, it's done nothing, it's just harmed the whole world, la, 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 la. And I was thinking, no, there's quite a lot of wins here. Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon, for starters. It's, a lot of its surface-to-air missiles don't exist. Most of its navy are gone. I think there's, a lot that can be chalked up as positives.
Well, if we look at what's happened over the last couple of years, with Israel dealing with Hamas, Hezbollah, and continuing to deal with Hezbollah, the Houthis now seem to have gone relatively quiet. Iranian influence across the region is waning, and this is where it was right and proper at some stage for mainland Iran to be dealt with, because they are behind all of it. When I was in Iraq in 2005, 2006, I lost 13 soldiers dead and between 60 and 70 with life-changing injuries. Every single one of those deaths and injuries was down to Iran. And that's just whenever I was there for 6 or 7 months. And this is continuing. In the 12 months before Donald Trump carried out his attack, Iran attacked American interests directly or indirectly through their proxies between 120 and 140 times. Imagine standing in a boxing ring and someone punching you over 100 times and you not reacting. America had to react on behalf of the world, and Iran's been attacking the world as well. But Trump needs to finish it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he should get on and do the job. Phil, thank you ever so much. Glorious to catch up with you. Yeah, I must admit, I'm just like, don't be too sad. But the problem is, I tell you what's stopping Trump finishing it, it's us.
Oh, I was literally just about to say that. I was literally just about to say the same thing. The reason that, Iran can control Donald Trump through the Strait of Hormuz is because the basket case of Europe is so dependent upon oil and gas that flows through it that America is basically paralysed because it can't afford for Europe to fall.
But not just that. The fact that when he started this, Europeans, what are you doing? We're not involved. Oh, you can't use our air bases. Oh, you can't fly over our airspace. It's like, would you be any more unhelpful?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like the useful idiots as well, running around basically doing the propaganda arm of the IRGC is basically all over British Western TV all the time. Yeah. I mean, at some point you have to realise that if you're really angry the guy is going to bomb this place back to, civilization back to out of history, and then get annoyed that he's then not bombed, maybe you're not as a neutral kind of objective viewpoint.
Mad, isn't it? Like, I mean, what are they doing? He shouldn't do this, and now he's got to do this. Like, oh, for God's sakes, just pipe down.
I do think, though, that actually the idea of not taking out all of the top brass of Iran was not necessarily the worst idea, because we learned with Iraq that when you take out all of them, that's when the crazies really get involved. I think that was the mentality, that maybe if you keep some people in place but you crush them down hard enough that they can't do anything, that's who you negotiate with. But again, because Europe's a basket case, you can't do it.
I hate Europe.
Yeah. Tension bed.
Okay, guess what? Doctors are on strike again next week. I know.
Is it a day of the week?
What is the basic pay for a first-year doctor is what I want to know. What are they moaning about? How much do they get paid? I'll let you know after this.
violence on the streets, there's no excuse for that. And if there are protests following this, I just hope that they remain non-violent. I mean, you can understand the community concerns after an attack like that.
People were saying all around the world, that's what British people now think. Have a listen to Rob from yesterday.
Morning, Jez. Well, yes, rightly, you shouldn't condone what happened. What else have people got to do? The political class are not listening. These people who are coming over here illegally, they're rapists, terrorists. They're coming over here, literally like putting a wolf in a sheep field.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Don't be afraid, but it's Alex and Peter on your wireless.
Yeah.
Well, who could be scared of us?
Yeah, it reminds me of Vincent Price.
We're the least. Who's Vincent Price?
He was the guy who did he was the voiceover in the Thriller music video.
Oh.
And then he was actually in like all the Hammer horror movies. He was Dracula, yeah. But that was actually his real voice as well.
Right.
Yeah, Vincent. Yeah. Huh. People always used to make him say really like weird things like, "Would you pass the salt?"
Well, so he didn't ham it up. That's just
no, that was actually his actual voice.
It's a bit like Brian Blessed, he just has to shout all the time.
Yeah, did you know he once punched the Dalai Lama by accident?
Brian Blessed?
Yeah. Is that not the most Brian Blessed thing you've ever heard in your life, though?
How did he punch the Dalai Lama?
Well, the Dalai Lama used to be a boxer, and when they met, as was Brian Blessed, and he was supposed to, like, fake jab him, and he actually punched him square in the face.
I love it. I'm getting really distracted by keeping up the colour at the corner of my... I really like horses, so I'm just like, look at them.
You were such a horse girl at school, weren't you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, I always wanted a horse. Now I live in Gloucestershire. I got to go out riding the other day because I met a guy who breeds and trains polo ponies. How very Gloucestershire.
I was going to say that.
A very Jilly Cooper.
Yeah.
An Aussie.
Yeah.
Like a redneck Aussie.
Yeah.
Not what I expected. I thought not a posho, no.
A bogan.
It's
a bogan is what they call it.
Bogan.
Yes.
Yeah, proper bogan. Yeah. So we went out horse riding. It was great. I've always wanted to be able to horse ride.
It now turned into a Boons and what is it? Mills and Boons novel.
I was going to say it all felt very Jilly Cooper.
Yeah, very Jilly. Yeah.
But the pubs in Gloucester in the wild, they have horse parking.
I think they're called stables, but yeah.
No. They have a car park, and then they actually have a place, and it says horse parking.
Horse parking.
And then there's buckets of water and hooks that you can tether your horse to. So you go on a horse ride, get off, have a few pints.
Yeah.
And they're actually, like a number of the pubs have horse parking.
Yeah. They used to have them outside of most of the private members' clubs in London. For when all the carriages, yeah. The one's still there outside the Lansdowne, I think it is. It's because it's very famous because it was the first one or something. Because Wellington wanted it there. Again, a random fact,
stuff.
I know.
Right, let us do a quick answer to the quiz question. We've got some breaking news as well. Right. So doctors on strike again next week. What is the basic pay for a first-year doctor?
33,000.
38.
Oh, right.
831.
So that's above the national average, then.
Above the national average. But then it goes up when you get to consulting, like 150k.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I don't know why they moan so much. Everyone starts off low. Yeah. In fact, what I was paid when I started off as a baby journalist was criminal.
Yeah. Nowhere near
£0
£38,000.
contract with the BBC. They basically didn't pay me. Anyway, here's your breaking news, which is large crowds are actually forming in Brighton as an anti-immigration group, South East Patriots, host a march through Brighton city centre today in response a counter-protest. Carnival against fascism is also taking place.
Yes.
Clown world.
Yeah. I met a very nice lady last weekend at the New Culture Forum, and she was telling me all about the fascism thing.
What, carnival against fascism?
Yeah. And I was like, you know what, actually, the circus has come to town. But yeah, again, we're so far through the looking glass now and down the rabbit hole that I can't,
I just can't.
Yeah.
It was mad. Shall we speak to Scott in Scunthorpe?
Yes, I think yes.
Let's do it. All right there, Scott.
Hi. What I wanted... brilliant show, by the way, both of you. What I wanted to say is maybe because the government's broken this country so much and so far gone, maybe we should give Keir Starmer, put him on notice and maybe have a general strike later on this year and get as many people involved as possible.
Well, do you know, I did think, actually, we could have a very British sort of protest of I'm not going to pay my tax anymore or something like that.
Well, nobody pays it anyway. and nobody goes to work
apart
anymore.
From me.
there's
it's my fault. There's all those migrants in hotels because I'm having to pay for them.
Yes,
but actually, it would be it would actually be helping the world if I stopped paying tax because then the migrants wouldn't have their money.
True.
But I think we're getting to a stage. I mean, thank goodness we're not. Yeah, thank goodness we're not like the French. We don't go sort of, torching things and, well, we're going a bit tonto over in Belfast, but we are getting to a stage. We've got to do something, and I'd rather it be a peaceful thing than not.
Yeah. Yeah,
well, fortunately, I think people are learning that violence gets you listened to, which is a very dangerous path to wander down.
I know.
That's a very dangerous thing. That the only way anybody's going to pay attention to you is if you set something on fire.
Not that I'm advocating for setting things on fire at all, but a couple of things has led to this. The first one is the fact that every other route that people have taken has not worked, whether it be peaceful protest, democracy at the ballot box, whether it be Brexit, voting for the Conservatives repeatedly, all the time. Nothing else has worked. So, the end result usually is violence in that situation, which I hate. But also the fact that, and it's the same, everything started going mad after the BLM stuff, when it just became normalised to have these sort of mass protests in the street and, looting and violence. And it was all sort of, oh, well, they're fighting against prejudice and discrimination and black genocide and all the rest of it, and then all the Extinction Rebellion lot, and the successive governments, then of course the pro-pallies, have just turned their eyes away from all these mad extreme leftist protesters. So then the right think, well, if they can do it, so can we.
Yeah, I'm afraid it's literally what it is. As we said earlier, it's every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this is what happens.
This is what happens.
But what's so annoying is this was all very predictable.
Oh, very.
That's the more infuriating bit.
And what's really scary is what comes next is also very predictable.
That's terrifying.
Like I said, getting that sump for my cellar. Yeah. Scott, thank you ever so much. Right, we can squeeze in another question. Oh, I've already given the answers to this one, to be honest. Never mind. Typhoon fifth-generator fighter jet project could be scrapped, which will anger the coalition countries constructing it. But what are those countries? Yeah, I just spoke about 5 minutes ago, so never mind. Who was paying attention out there? Right, we'll let you know what the answer is just after this. And after the break, we're joined, as always, by the amazing Steve Gill. Don't go anywhere.
I've got some breaking news here. The Crowborough Army Training Camp could hold male asylum seekers all the way until 2030. After the Home Office claimed it would only be for 12 months. Not much ambition involved in that, is there, in terms of solving the migrant crisis?
Absolutely, and the way that the Labour government gaslit the public when the migrants were first moved in there, saying, you guys are absolutely being mad. Crowborough is a quiet, leafy town in East Sussex. These people, you can see, have been pushed to their absolute limit. They're not the types that you usually see protesting about this sort of thing. But that town has been absolutely desecrated.
You're ruining the country. Get Keir Starmer out. Look, England flags. You're useless. Labour parties are useless.
I love our country. And one of the things about our country is good manners. Not very British.
What Labour advisor thought she wasn't going to be heckled at a petrol station in Leeds? Do these politicians actually ever get out and understand what it's like for real working-class people? I thought it was British to exercise a right to free speech. That's what Keith Stalin told Trump. That's what White Van Man was exercising yesterday to Richard III. Oh, yes, I remember. We're not really allowed our right to free speech in case we criticise the government.
You can't blame people so many decades away from you for the chaos that has been caused by Labour.
This is cheap politics, isn't it, Syrian?
Well, it's stupid politics. I mean, who raised national insurance on part-time workers? Labour. Who's been the stupid people that have wandered down the road and increased taxes on businesses and on individuals? Labour.
A lot of people get very frustrated, especially when the government says, oh, free school meals, you know, for every kid, not just the kids who really need them, you know, free bus passes, free this, free that. None of it's free. It's subsidised and paid for by the taxpayer. And we're in this constant situation where the government's answer to everything is tax us a bit more, take more of our money, and then give some more of it away generously. It's our sodding money they're giving away.
Yeah. Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Alex Phillips, Talk Radio, a clever woman on a common sense show. Beep.
There's a beep.
There's a beep one. I thought it was when it started playing. I was like, that's the one with the beep. I was waiting for it. I don't know why the beep's in there, but it makes it.
Yeah, because is he doing like the end of like do you know, it used to be leave your message after the beep?
Do you know what would be quite fun if we had like little, what are those loop machines called that people?
Oh, it's got a loop machine.
Oh, well,
yeah, it's a loop pedal, I think.
That's that one. But wouldn't it be quite fun, sort of doing a remix of all of this, and you could sort of have a bass of like, beep,
okay,
beep, and then just layer it all up.
I can't see Tech Up from behind me. However, I think he's now like, I can do this anyway.
Turn around and look at him. Just turn around and look at Tech Up. Yeah. Hey, he wants it. He's hungry for the challenge.
Amazing.
Love it. Oh, DJ Tech. I don't know why I did that. Beep. I've just gone mad. Beep. This is a weird show today.
Yes, it is.
It is. Do you know what? I forgot actually how weird Saturday was, but it is always a little bit kooky. Shall we do some messages? We're waiting for the wonderful Steve Gill.
Yes, we are. Oh, right. Okay.
So we will do some massages. Oh, quiz! Thank you, Tech. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Typhoon thing. Well, look, I shouldn't call it a thing because I liked it deeply. It was a nice-looking piece of aircraft, if only they finished building it. But probably not going to do it now because Starmer. So who's he going to upset?
The Japanese and Italians, isn't it?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, well done. You've not yet got dementia.
Not yet, no.
Not yet. It's coming down the tracks for you.
Yeah.
That's quite a mean thing to say. I said that.
Yeah. But it runs in the family, so yeah.
Right, you ready?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Message time. We got some... Oh,
yeah. It's our kind of clubhouse, kind of with a cocktail by a pool.
Oh, my normal bed, apparently.
Your normal bed.
The text made my bed, I better lie in it. Morning, Alex. Nigel is the only politician that will sort this disastrous mess we're in due to both the Tories and currently Labour. Your guest, Peter, is totally wrong about reform. And so... Oh, dork. And seems to continually attack them whenever he can. Does he really believe the Tories are the answer after they brought this catastrophe upon us, says Rich in Oxford? All I can say, Rich in Oxford, by the way, dork over there is keeping me away from Ofcom.
Yes.
Great.
I'm doing very well.
He's my Ofcom firewall.
Yes, I was once known as a one-man balance team.
You are the one-man balance team. I have to keep reminding people, I do criticise reform, and I criticise all sorts of people. And every now and then I even praise Starmer. Very rarely, but it does happen.
Yeah.
You know, a stuck clock is occasionally right.
As I always say, the Tories are not your get-out-of-jail-free card. They're the canary in the mines. They're the cautionary tale about what happens when you don't hold your own side accountable for when they get things wrong. They're not a get-out-of-jail. They're not your excuse. And that's the thing where I think Reform are wandering down this path of like, oh, well, the Tories did it. Well, what about? That doesn't work. Look what happens.
Yeah, the whataboutery.
The whataboutery.
Right.
Yes.
Shall we
Steve?
speak with the wonderful...
Oh, yes. This guy will get us in a good mood.
Steve Gill. Hi, Steve.
Hi, guys. Welcome back after your vacation.
Oh, it was... we call it holiday over here, Steve.
I'm sorry.
No, it was wonderful. I saw a Tesla truck. That was the highlight. I mean, there are other great things about being in Florida, but the Tesla truck especially was, you know, I'd never seen one in the flesh. What a weird piece of kit that is.
It is, to me, it is ugly. But the funny thing is all these people who are in the U.S. for all these World Cup matches are experiencing pieces of America that Europe doesn't understand or know, like Waffle House, Buc-ee's, sweet tea, Southern sweet tea. And they're writing all these blogs and comments about their experiences in the U.S. that aren't covered in Europe.
Do you know, it's interesting. I didn't know until I was over in Florida. I didn't know a lot of things, but I didn't know that there's been spates of setting Tesla trucks on fire. You can't have a Tesla truck in Washington, D.C. because it's about 95% Democrat voting, and they go around and, you know, set it alight.
Well, and in addition to Tesla, of course, Elon Musk with his SpaceX yesterday became a trillionaire with the public offering of SpaceX, and like thousands of SpaceX employees, including janitors and cafeteria workers, became millionaires yesterday.
That's a big.
They can all afford Tesla trucks.
That is the American dream, right there. Do you know Elon at all?
I've met him once, and he is a quirky individual, but man, he is brilliant. I mean, he does things that are literally off the charts constantly, and is one of those guys who thinks with a different brain than most of us.
Yeah, if you can get a message to him to please stop playing in UK politics, he's not helping. That would be really good. I like Elon awfully, and I just feel like if someone were to explain to him our first past the post system, he might suddenly go, oh, someone surely must have done, but can you just say, look, Elon, please, can you just, keep doing brilliant things, but don't do the UK politics thing right now.
Some would argue he needs to stay in U.S. politics a little bit less as well. Stick with what you do, brilliance rather than meddling in politics, which he really doesn't, I think, fully understand or comprehend.
No,
which is probably the only thing he doesn't comprehend.
No, he is a brilliant man. I mean, he is a story of the age, isn't he? It's just absolutely incredible. The world's first trillionaire, the most powerful man. When you think the things that Musk could do if he wanted to, with Starlinks and all the rest of it, it is absolutely astonishing. And to me, it's a madness that the left wing hated him so much. I think, actually, we were talking earlier about sort of equal and opposite forces. I think the fact that the left wing decided to hate him so much is actually what kind of radicalised him and made him even more right wing. Because when you think about electric vehicles and all the rest of it, they should be his greatest champion.
Well, and we're constantly these days in the U.S. having this hysteria over these data centers, these AI data centers, over how much power they consume, how much water they need to cool the systems. And I was talking with a friend yesterday pointing out that the biggest challenge we face is that China is moving rapidly ahead in doing this, and that there is speculation that China, Russia, and others are helping fund the hysteria in the U.S., the public policy hysteria, ginning people up because they want to slow our progress down. They want to, own the AI market in China, so they're spending money surreptitiously to help fund some of these protest groups and petition gatherers. And, let's get to the facts and don't let people, hyperventilate before they get the facts, which is why people watch you.
We often hyperventilate and then get to the facts. But it's I've lost a thought then.
Yeah.
I think I hyperventilated in real time.
And you said I was getting Alzheimer's.
I actually had a sentence and it just went. I lost it completely.
Yeah.
Anyway, never mind. It probably wasn't that good. Let's talk about what is going on in terms of Iran and whether or not there's a deal. Is there not a deal? Why does Donald Trump keep saying there's a deal? Then there isn't. It might help if he stepped back and stopped suggesting there was going to be a deal just for Iran to essentially shoot it down.
I agree. It becomes kind of like the little boy who cried wolf, the president who cried deal, where every week, oh, we got a deal, and then the bombing starts the next day or the next hour from the Iranians. And I think the challenge has been what we've discussed before. Who do you negotiate with? I mean, if you're talking to a group in Iran that says they have power and you're negotiating a deal with them, and then you find out that the IRGC, the regime, isn't willing to implement it, you only have a deal if it's actually done. And we don't see anything, I think, even at this stage, through the leaks and everything that's coming out, that would indicate that there is a solid deal you can wrap your arms around and know that they will actually do what they say they are going to do. And I think that's why President Trump is wanting to hang back the release of sanctions, the release of the complications that we're putting into the Iranian economy. Show us the actions rather than the words, and then we'll release some of your money, we'll release some of the sanctions. But I think we're in Ronald Reagan territory, trust but verify. And I don't know that you can verify that the Iranians are going to do anything they say they will do.
No, well, I think that's the thing. They've got everyone, playing everyone. And you don't even know in Iran, even if there is a sensible politician out there who says, yes, we'll do a deal, the IRGC are going to have a completely their own agenda. Do you think Trump would be willing? He's often threatened we'll go bomb them into smithereens if they don't sign on the dotted line. He's threatened it and not done it. Do you still think that is on the table?
I think that the targets have exclusively, and there are still a few left that are the military targets, that are those things that build and construct and support the military. I think he's been very hesitant to want to hit the drilling capabilities, the storage capabilities of their oil, the port capabilities, because you destroy those and you've got a decade, 20 years of Iran having to rebuild their economy. And then the chaos you create in that, it makes the more radicals likely to gain even more power. So I think he's been hesitant to take those infrastructure attacks that would actually put the Iranians and the Iranian people at greater risk. And I think that's, again, been one of the kind of teeter-totter effects of, do you do this knowing it'll have this impact?
He's had an outburst about Oman lately, which is strange. Are you aware of that? Because I was reading about it in the Telegraph today, and I'm like, why is he picking on little Oman? Oman, as far as I know, is a very, very good ally to the British, a very long-term ally. My understanding is at one point, America wanted to not nick Oman off us, but basically, forge greater alliances and said, look, instead of having British military technology there and them sending you weapons, we'll give it all to you for free. And the Omanis said, no, thank you.
I think one of the real byproducts of this is going to be the relationship that's been created with the Gulf states, like Oman, improving relations with the Emiratis and Saudi Arabia and the others. And Oman and Bahrain are certainly in that. I think what's tweaked Trump is that Oman is talking about funding and going ahead and releasing funds to Iran. And when you've got the stranglehold on their economy, don't give them the relief. And I think the concern is that the Omanis releasing some funds to Iran just keep them, firing missiles, feeling like they're winning, and giving them any economic relief right now is kind of counter to what the entire region is doing. And Oman seems to be kind of marching to their own side in order to maybe get a head start in repairing relationships with Iran after this is over.
I suppose they're a very small country bordering a very big and unpleasant one, so on some level I
Yes.
have some sympathy with Oman. I understand the royal family of Oman has sort of turned around and said, look, we were never going to put a toll on the Strait of Hormuz, stop accusing us of doing things that we wouldn't do. But it's an interesting development. It's one to keep our eye on, without a doubt. What about, I don't know if you've picked up on this over in America, but we're not going to be increasing our amount of funding of defence. Apparently, America has been urging Starmer to increase spending. It turns out that not only are we not really going to be increasing it, we're taking more away.
Well, while at the same time spending more for Ukrainian defense, which is kind of at odds with what you would think that the Brits would want to be doing. Look, take care of stuff at home, and when we hear the constant fears that are driven by many in the media and many actually in labor that, Russia will be at our door if we don't stop them in Kiev. And at the same time, you're not buttressing your defense against what you claim is the boogeyman under your bed. So I think it's inconsistent. But keep in mind that President Trump has been forcing NATO kicking and screaming to elevate the overall contributions to European defense. Some countries are still way behind, aren't paying. Others have reluctantly stepped up the amounts that are being paid, while looking at the U.S. taxpayers to contribute, half or more of the NATO funding. And as those dollars come down, somebody's going to have to take up the slack. And if the UK doesn't do it, then, you may see bases moved out. You may see Trump move resources to other countries that are willing to step up for their own defense.
It's going to be the G7 summit in Evian in France on Monday. What do you think we can expect from that, and what Trump might be saying to his allies in the G7?
I'm always excited to actually get the little filterings of what's said behind the doors, not out in front. Out front, everybody, kind of plays nice and says kind things about each other. There's not going to be a love fest between Trump and Macron, Trump and Merz, Trump and Starmer, behind the scenes. Now, they may pose for a picture, and we may see some body language that gives us the real insight. But I think that whether it's on tariffs and duties applied to U.S. goods that restrict U.S. Playing in different fields, I think it's whether Europe is stepping up to their own defense, continuing to depend on the U.S., and then economically, some of these countries did not step up to stop the bully in the Middle East, Iran, who's been threatening the Strait, threatening their neighbors for a long time. And as we've talked before, if they took a dirty nuke into Piccadilly Circus, that would have an economic impact that would make, the gas prices today look tame by comparison. So I think there's plenty for them to talk about, but hopefully it will be forward looking of, okay, we're going to get this conflict ended. Gas prices, oil prices are going to come down. How do we move forward economically? We're going to find an end eventually to this Ukraine-Russia conflict. How do we move ahead with what's next? How do we repair the economic relationships, even if we still have some tension about military and security relationships?
And finally, Steve, Big Donaldy turns 80 tomorrow. My understanding is he's planning a sort of big event. Is it sort of the gardens of the White House or something? You obviously Donald Trump's going to have to do something because he wouldn't be able to resist it. But what can we expect?
First of all, there are some people that say, look, he looks like he's tired. It's like, he's 80 years old and he works 20 hours a day. People can't keep up with the energy he continues to pour into all of the things he's doing. So, I think the one thing we can expect for his birthday is he won't take the day off and rest. He might go play a round of golf. That's the best I would expect in terms of relaxation for him. But they've got this big, fight plan for the White House lawn. And I was talking with a friend last night who was saying, oh, people are appalled at this. When you look back historically, this is in the tradition of populist American presidents. Andrew Jackson would have had wrestling matches on the White House lawn. Teddy Roosevelt would have brought in a bear and wrestled him on the White House lawn. So he is in the tradition of populist American presidents, whether we like it or not.
Who's fighting?
They've got these, unlimited fighters that are going to literally, they've built the arena. And I mean, it's like kicking, scratching, clawing. It is like one of the hottest things out there. It is not, wine shipping, Chablis drinking, golf clapping kind of event. It's a raucous, wild event, and it's going to be right there on the White House lawn.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
I
UFC.
want to see it.
It's UFC.
Yes.
No
Ultimate
way.
fights.
Yeah.
And the tickets are like $50,000 to $100,000 because it's such a limited number of people want to be there. One of my friends in Congress has opted not to go because he said, "Look, I always have breakfast Sunday morning with my mom. I've got to do breakfast with my mom." It's like, dude, at least sell your ticket, or better yet, take your mom to the fight.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'll have it. I'd love to go watch that. I'll get a flight right now. I'll set myself off for Heathrow. It'd be brilliant fun. Oh, Steve, thank you ever so much.
You will see plenty of video and photos.
Oh, I'm so happy I'm going to be on air. Oh, no, because it won't have happened when I'm on air. I'll be after it, and then I'll have to wait until Friday. Oh, dang. Anyway, Steve, thank you ever so much. And can I just say before you go, actually, the magical, mystifying place that America is. I went to Florida and I had this beautiful idea because we were staying right next to the beach. I was like, I'm going to do my Pilates every morning, going to swim in the ocean, going to eat lots of seafood, going to come back 2 kilograms lighter. What? Even oysters, they deep fat fry them. Like, what is going on? I mean, I know that there's obesity problems in America, but when you see these 34-ounce, sour watermelon daiquiris that are bright blue, you're like, oh my goodness, everything, can I just say. I got fascinated with reading labels on products from supermarkets because you can't leave anything alone, you people. You just put, you think it's olive oil. Is it, though? Nah, let's shove some salt and some sugar and some other bits in there. It's like, what's going on?
Well, it's not just the size of the portions or the sizes of what they serve. It's the 10-ounce bikini that has a 60-ounce woman in it. I mean, so when you look at the beach, sometimes you're going, oh yeah, I see where all those large portions are headed into the beachwear. Look, again, it is a problem, and again, it is not just the ingredients; it's the portion sizes that we consume. And I'm actually working with a company now that does testing of potential colon cancer, and Americans 50 and under are the fastest rising, fastest cause of death is colon cancer, and people don't get tested. But it's happening around the world as our processed foods become what people are eating all over the world. So every other country is seeing that same rise in colon cancer because we're exporting our food choices, which are not healthy.
It's interesting. I was talking to my friend about that in America and about sort of emulsifiers in products and colon cancer. But when it comes to ultra-processed food, we have it in the UK. We've now got Whole Foods here. But what I didn't understand is in the UK, you know, most supermarkets have lots of fruit and veg and meat and fish. You go into an American supermarket and it's almost like fresh produce is like an accidental section right in the corner. I was like, why don't you have fruits and vegetables and fish and meat over there? Like, what's going on? It was the weirdest experience, I must say, but I loved it, and I hope to go back. I'm just going to
come back soon and
Yeah.
come to Nashville next time. You went to a great place in Florida, but we want you and Chris and others come here. We'll stage a 3-day broadcast at some of the honky tonks on Broadway, some of the historic sites. We will get it done if you guys can come.
Oh, I'm there already. I'm going to have to lean quite heavily on my bosses, and it's going to be like getting blood from a stone, but I'll do my best, Steve. We've got to make this plan happen. Steve, thank you ever so much. The brilliant Steve Go, ladies and gentlemen, former White House official. No, the American food thing is mad.
It's mad.
I just got fascinated. You know, you pick up something that you think is just a normal product.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not.
Oh, no.
I mean, and also, you know, we've got Whole Foods now in Kensington. We don't really need it because our supermarkets have Whole Foods in. I actually understood why, as a brand, that exists in America, because you go into Target. That's where I
Target,
went.
yes.
Bit of Target. Good clothes, mind. Good supermarket clothes shopping at Target. Anyway, went into Target and you walked in, and just in the very, 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 very corner, there's like a tiny little, like 2 little fridges like this with fresh meat. And the rest of the supermarket, which is basically the size of, you know, Worcestershire, was just crazy packages of all sorts of things.
Yeah, it's
and
terrible.
even when you look at, you know, sort of fresh vegetables, you're like, you know, what have you done to that? I don't know, just everything weird.
It is weird. It is weird. But would you like to know a little bit more about Oman? About Oman and why Trump's not very happy?
Right, tell me.
It's called the Kasab route. So basically, it's the bit in the Strait of Hormuz, which Oman also share alongside Iran. You know, it connects their capital to the rest of Oman.
Yeah.
So basically, shutting off and turning it back on again is actually messing with this kind of national security of Oman. So basically, they're giving it what Iran wants, because the more they open and close it, the more vulnerable they are. So
yes,
that's
what
why.
I mean. Poor little Oman.
Yeah.
Good old faithful little Oman, always been good to us.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's stuck on the side of blimmin' evil Iran.
Yes, pretty much, yeah.
There we go.
Oh, tension.
Now, Al Khan's resigned as Armed Forces Minister, unlike John Healey, who for some reason I was convinced of being in the Armed Forces, but he hadn't. Just had that face. You know. But Al Khan was in the military. What I want to know is what role? Which role did he serve? What was his position? What was he, and for whom, where, what? We're going to let you know just after this.
Violence on the streets, there's no excuse for that, and if there are protests following this, I just hope that they remain non-violent. I mean, you can understand the community concerns after an attack like that.
People were saying all around the world, that's what British people now think. Have a listen to Rob from yesterday.
Morning, Jez. Well, yes, rightly, you shouldn't condone what happened. What else have people got to do? The political class are not listening. These people who are coming over here illegally, they're rapists, terrorists. They're coming over here. It's literally like putting a wolf in a sheep.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Hi, it's Helen in Knutsford of the Alex Phillips on a Saturday on Talk fame. I'm so glad you like it. And I really like that somebody else rang and left a similar one as well. So I need to do another one. Oh, by the way, I wasn't choking on a pear drop or falling down the stairs or hurling. No, that was a throwback to the 80s, which I know you love. I love. Oh my God. Anyway, let's all wish hard enough like a Disney film. Perhaps we can go back there, but I'll do another one for you as it's apt. Alex and Peter on a Saturday on Talk. Oh, thought I'd just add a few more. Loads of love. Helen Knutsford.
I love Helen
Amazing.
Knutsford.
We love Helen Knutsford.
Also, I like the sort of bloop at
Yeah.
the beginning and
Yeah.
the doom at the end. Oh, everything
it.
about
Everything
that
about
was
that was
just chef's
perfect.
kiss. I want Helen
I'm now in an
Knutsford to be
excellent
my
mood.
best mate. In fact, we got a spare chair.
We got a
here.
spare chair.
I think Helen Knutsford should come
Yeah.
in next Saturday and just sort of actually just
going,
because she's clearly. I think she's got a good voice as well.
Yeah,
we could just
definitely.
have Helen in Knutsford, and instead of playing the recordings, we
Yeah.
can just sort of use that
Yeah.
camera over there on that chair, and Helen can just
Yeah,
blast
and
it
after
out.
every story, she go.
That was amazing, can I
Yeah.
just say? Helen in Knutsford,
You've turned our very bad mood around.
yeah. Also, the rest of you out there, if you've not left us a jingle, what are you doing with your life? Why are you wasting
she set a
it?
very high bar.
She has set a high bar. 03444991000 on WhatsApp. Send them in. Okay, shall we talk about... Well, do we have to?
You have to do the
Helen just cheered us up.
Tension.
Oh, tension bed. Oh, yeah, what was it?
Al Cairns.
Oh, Al Cairns. Yeah, what
Yeah.
did he used to be?
I thought he was just in the infantry in the army, but
Incorrect on
was
all
he?
fronts.
Oh.
He was actually promoted all the way up to Colonel.
Really?
Royal Marines and their SBS, the Special Boat Service.
I didn't know that.
I mean, that's very cool.
That's very cool.
I just don't understand how someone that cool, who did all those cool things,
Ended up in the Labour
in-
Party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were left-wing people in the military. I thought they were all sound patriots. How does that happen?
I don't know.
Al Cairns, did you get the rosette colour wrong? Did you end up there
Yeah.
by accident?
Yeah, did you wander into the wrong building?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's very cool, though. Yeah.
And it's very, very cool. Right, let us now talk... But do we have to? We got so merry.
I know, yeah. I feel like this is going to really bring us down,
Helen
isn't
Knutsford
it?
brought us up.
Yeah.
And now we're going to come back down because we're going to be talking about blimmin' Ed Zero. We're joined by Ben Powell, co-founder of Climate Debate UK. Ben, brilliant having you back on the programme. Tell me, what is the little nutter planning for us next?
Good afternoon, Alex. I'm really disappointed to be the party pooper. but them's the breaks, as someone in number 10 once said. Look, so Ed's plan, who is indeed Boris Johnson's continuity member in the government, has decided that we're not going to have electric towel heaters in our bathrooms or underfloor heating. Electric underfloor heating in our bathrooms and space heaters as well. And this is, of course, to hit the country's net zero 2050 and his clean power 2030 agendas. At face value, that looks pretty trivial, but I've done a little figures here, if you will excuse the numbers. So imagine, if you will, that you've got an electric heater, an electric towel heater by your bath, probably for a good reason, probably because it wasn't very convenient to put a towel radiator there. But if you're going to go and replace that with a towel radiator, that radiator is going to cost you 50 quid. For labour, assuming that's going to take a plumber about a day or the best part of a day to fix, that's going to cost you 400 quid at average prices, but it might cost you a lot more because in some places they're in shorter supply. The new floor is going to, if you buy a cheap lino version, a vinyl floor, that's going to cost you the best part of 200, and someone to fit that's going to cost you about 140. So all in, they're claiming that each of these things are going to save the average house £10 a year. Can you believe it? It's enough to make me go out and start canvassing for Labour the next election. So that's going to cost you around 790 quid. So if it's going to save you 10 quid a year, that's the best part of 79 years you're going to have to wait till you get your money back out of these savings on electricity. So there's clearly, I mean, I've taken a few liberties there. I mean, you can take off the cost of the radiator versus the cost of electric version, but it's still going to cost you take you 6 decades to get that money back, if at all. So it's the claims, all of his claims are this kind of arithmetic. And the man alleges to have double maths A-level and have studied economics at no less a place than Oxford University. So I think what my take-home point from that is that he and all of his colleagues at DESNZ have just donated their brains to medical science because ideology has clearly evacuated the space between their ears.
But the thing is, right, and I don't think it's hyperbole to say that his mad policies are going to make people ill. And I don't just mean mentally ill. But think, for example, the cost of heating is crazy. It is so expensive to put your central heating on. Little Mrs. Miggins there sitting too afraid to turn on her gas, probably relies on her electric radiator to pop up to keep her warm enough so she doesn't die from the winter cold. But similarly, there are people, I mean, I include myself in this, but there are people like me, and you know, kids with asthma and so on and so forth, who damp inside a house, it exacerbates their chronic conditions to the point of dangerous levels. And if you're not allowed a tumble dryer to dry your clothes, you're not allowed electric heaters, you know, to get rid of damp, or towel heat. I mean, what are we supposed to do? Just live in the cold and damp like troglodytes? It's going to make people ill.
Well, their answer is always that the just transition requires redistribution. So they're going to take the money to give to people in poorer accommodation or less good accommodation. You know, the grants that they need to do that. But that's always going to be 10, 20 years behind the curve and is going to be trying to mop up the excesses. But you're absolutely right. I mean, in a situation where we had electricity and gas prices that we had 20 years ago, which was in the wake of the discoveries and the exploitation of North Sea oil and gas, there wouldn't be a need for these kind of social or socialist, let's put it bluntly, policies, or these redistributive policies, because we'd be paying in the order of 8 to 10 pence per kilowatt hour for electricity and about 1 to 2p per kilowatt hour for gas, instead of 3 to 4 times that amount. So it wouldn't, you know, the thresholds that people live within would be much, much, much more equitable in their own language. We wouldn't need these socialist policies. So it's almost like they're trying to make things expensive such that socialism becomes necessary. And that seems to be the dimension, the intention of left-wing green agenda. I mean, I'm not going to let the Green Tories off the hook here, because they've done the majority of the damage in this process, and often on the same terms. But yeah, absolutely. If we had cheap and affordable energy in this country, we wouldn't be facing problems of deindustrialization, of unemployment, of economic stagnation, and of houses which are inadequately heated. Yet they're always, always, always telling us that this is in our interest, this is in the interests of the working class, Ed Miliband has convinced himself. And that at some point, after he's banned all of the heaters that we like and that we've grown used to, and after he's taken away our cars and forced us onto buses that cost £5 for each journey and so on and so forth, then everyone's going to start building statues to him and saying what a great world Ed Miliband has created. So, I mean, excuse my rant, but but it is an entirely insane agenda.
No, I agree.
And I think it's completely unmoored from reality. And unfortunately, the worst thing is that over the last 20 years, it's become a very an anti-democratic agenda in which people aren't allowed to give their opinions.
No, you're right. It's a neo-religion, isn't it, basically? And that man is appointed himself priest on high. Awful creature that he is. Bring back the Ed Stowe, bury him underneath it. Ben, thank you ever so much. Brilliantly, eloquently and passionately put forward argument there. We do have to give the government line. Are you ready? A Department of Energy Security and Net Zero spokesman said our reforms will save households money by improving the energy efficiency of underfloor heating, towel rails and storage heaters. Jargon.
We'll save you money.
Yeah.
Funny. Tension bed.
The artist David Hockney died yesterday, but how much did his painting, Portrait of an Artist, Pool with Two Figures, sell for in 2018?
Oh, that's a good one.
How much did they pay for that?
I have no idea.
I don't really rate David Hockney.
Yeah, I was surprised he died. I didn't realise he was that old.
Oh, no, I knew he was getting on a bit.
Yeah.
Leftist, I'm guessing.
Oh, I mean, he's an artist, let's be real.
No one wears clothes like that on the right wing.
No.
No one.
Actually, maybe some of the old, back in the day Tories. They were pretty out there with some sartorial choices.
If you put, you know, the right bins on fabricants, he could potentially cosplay as
That's true. Oh, yeah.
David Hockney. Anyway,
yeah,
how
we
much
wandered
was
off then.
his most famous painting, Portrait of an Artist, Pool with Two Figures, how much did it sell for in 2018? That's what we want to know. Answers coming up just after this, and we're also going to be speaking to the brilliant economist Julian Jessup about the sort of damage Miliband might do to the country, but also the fake news damage that Brexit apparently did. That's coming up after this.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
It's Alex Phillips and Peter live on Talk.
I forgot that.
that one.
Yeah, I forgot that one.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. That was Cindy. Thank you.
That's it, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Cindy, I do know your name. I just sort of, I've got a slow brain today.
It's that kind of day.
So I was so sure that I knew her name. I said that was, and then it wasn't there.
Yeah.
Like nothing. It's all gone. Right, David Hockney, dead, painting, how much?
No idea.
Guess, at least.
The thing is with the art world...
What
is
if you
how it
actually
is.
got it? You guessed and you got it. Wouldn't you feel really like God was at work?
Yeah, but the thing is, though, with the art world is how very little or a stupid amount. That's the problem with the art world
he's
now.
clearly a famous, infamous person, and this painting was sold in 2018. So while he was, you know, very well known. So it's not going to be little, is it? It's not going to be like £2.50.
No, of course, it's not going to be that, but I don't know.
Yes, now.
30 mil?
Oh, 90 mil.
No, really?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, there you go.
See, that's for a Hockney, that seems a lot.
£2.50 is a lot for a Hockney. Yeah. In my humble opinion, not that I'm an art critic, but what is art these days?
I think that's a question they've been asking since Plato's time.
At least they actually did do art once upon a time.
Yeah.
When you look at, like, some of the old Renaissance sculptures...
Oh, yeah.
And then you look at Tracy Emin's bed and you're like... Just saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, right. Let us get back to the economic doom and gloom that's about to face the country and speak to the brilliant Julian Jessup. Julian, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Right. Miliband, front runner to be Burnham's Chancellor. Does that keep you awake at night? Is that going to give you nightmares? What can we expect? Is it going to be doom and gloom and disaster?
Well, if I start on the markets, wouldn't like that. I mean, believe it or not, the markets actually think Rachel Reeves is the least bad candidate to remain Chancellor, and she has done a few things the markets have quite liked in terms of sticking to the fiscal rules and increasing the amount of headroom. I think Ed Miliband would worry the markets. His recent track record, of course, in terms of running energy policy has been a disaster. It's clearly undermined the economy as well as damaging our energy security. So I think there is a concern that he would just transfer bad policies from energy to the economy as a whole. I think the only reason why he's seriously being considered for the role is that he might well be the kingmaker. He clearly is not eligible for the top role. He's tried and failed to lead the Labour Party, but I'm sure he'd love to be Chancellor. He makes a lot of the fact he used to be a special advisor at the Treasury. It'll be his dream job. So he might get it purely to provide a bit more support for Andy Burnham behind the scenes, but it's not clear to me, based on his track record, that he'd be any better than Rachel Reeves.
What do we know about his sort of economic philosophy, so to speak? I mean, not that we know much about Rachel Reeves. I don't think she's got one other than keep increasing taxes and pay for more benefits. But is there anything that sort of marks out sort of Milibandism?
Well, not really. I mean, he's always been, of course, on the left of the Labour Party in terms of tax and spending. So there might be a further move in that direction. He might at least claim that he's got a bit of Treasury orthodoxy in his bones, a bit of respect for the fiscal rules, for example, because of his time working there. But I think he'd be sort of represent a further lurch to the left. I mean, Rachel Reeves herself is already a high tax, high spending chancellor. I think we get more of the same under him, but also more intervention in the economy more generally. We've seen that in energy policy, ridiculous plans for, Great Britain energy and that sort of thing, which is basically just tinkering, wasting loads of taxpayers' money on things that can be left to the markets. And I'm sure that as Chancellor we'd see even more of that.
Now, talk to me about the BBC, who had their little panel all set up so they could tell us categorically, facts, biblically speaking, that Brexit's been a disaster for the economy. Has it?
Well, it obviously really annoys me as somebody who thinks that Brexit has had actually very little impact on the economy so far, and in the longer term, it's still likely to have a positive impact. I think the problem that the BBC has is that it's looking at the sort of consensus amongst economists, if you like, that Brexit is a bad thing. And then it's concluding then that therefore is a settled fact. But for more than 1,000 years, the consensus was that the sun revolved around the earth rather than the other way around. I mean, nobody would have claimed that that was a settled fact just because lots of people believed it. And of course, also, there is a significant minority of professional economists, myself included, who have a much more positive view on Brexit, and I'm afraid that we are barely represented in the media. There's also an enormous amount of groupthink across society as a whole, big businesses, academia, other broadcasters, not just the BBC, but of course I'd exclude talkTV from this, tend not to like to hear alternative voices either. So it's quite hard for people to stick their heads over the parapet and present those alternative views.
What sort of things? I mean, let's say we might have a change of government sooner rather than later if our prayers are answered. What sort of things could say it was a reform government, for instance, or the Tories came back, a Brexit backing government. What sort of things could the country do to turbocharge Brexit, to really start making the most of it?
Well, first of all, I think you've got to jump one way or the other. At the moment, we're in this sort of awkward middle ground where the government's trying to edge closer to the European Union without going the whole hog and actually rejoining. But given the straight choice between rejoining and a clean break, there's still overwhelming evidence that people would prefer the latter. If you ask the British public, are you willing to accept all the costs and conditions of particular parts of EU membership, they all say no. So I think the first thing that a new government should do is jump decisively towards what some people used to call a hard Brexit. I prefer to call the clean Brexit. Just say to the EU, thank you, we're happy with the deal that we've got. You're not going to offer us anything better, so we're going to look elsewhere. I'd then use those Brexit freedoms to do a number of things. I mean, first of all, I think we need to regulate our own economy much smarter than we have been. And there have been some Brexit benefits already in that area, everything from agriculture through to financial services. But also we should be looking at doing much bigger, bolder trade deals with the rest of the world. Again, we've already made some progress in that direction, but we're in a silly position now, for example, where we still impose loads of tariffs on things that we import but will never produce at home. So a clean sweep through all the tariffs that the EU wants to impose, but we don't need to.
Julian, thank you ever so much. And do you know what? I'm not giving up that fight. I would get back in. I'd be on the front lines all over again if I had to. The brilliant Julian Jessup, ladies and gentlemen. But it's just sad, isn't it? Because Brexit was historic.
It was a moment.
It was, why make all the noise, all the fuss, and then, create all the sort of, hullabaloo around it to then just not do it?
Yeah, I think it was one of those moments, I think, that we let slip, I'm afraid. And I go back to the point that we stopped campaigning for it, and they didn't.
Oh.
Yeah. And now our good mood has been ruined again.
Sarah has message saying, I voted for Brexit. I care about the economical damage Brexit did as much as Labour care about the economical damage net zero is doing. There you are. Yeah. Totally agree. And hi, Alex, listening to your conversation about heating, I own a wood-burning stove showroom in Cornwall. We supply and fit. And we've seen a huge increase in people fitting wood-burning stoves because of the increase in gas and electric prices. great for business. However, the Mad government are also anti-wood burners. It just seems everywhere you turn, they want to stop us doing anything. It's true, I heard that they wanted to get rid of...
They were one of the first things they went after, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
It seems a really good idea to get everybody hooked onto gas and then, you know, be entirely reliant on foreign nations for gas
imports. Does he also want to go after gas heaters as well?
Oh, yeah, he wants to go after everything.
Just don't be hot.
Yeah.
Freeze to death. Die of pneumonia.
Yeah. What
That's
was it they used to say at the WF? You will own nothing, you will be cold and poor, but you will say thank you for it.
They actually used to say that?
Yeah, it was the head of the... what was his name? Yeah.
Schlaus.
That's the one.
Schwab.
Schwab.
That's it.
Yeah. And it was the perverse bit of saying, you will say thank you for it. Yeah.
These people are nutters.
Not jobs.
Talk about... You want a segue there? Green Party leader...
Oh, God, here we go.
Zach Polanski has criticised the jailing of Palestine Action protesters, of course he has, after they were sentenced yesterday for causing £1.2 million of damage at a UK site of an Israeli-based defence firm. Also, can I just... I feel like in the reporting of this, we never keep... they sort of gloss over the fact that a policewoman was bludgeoned by a sledgehammer and had her spine broken. Anyway, writing on X, he said, gut-wrenching to see 4 young people jailed for direct action against an arms supplier to Israel. Years in prison for protesting to save lives in Gaza with terrorism used despite no jury convicting them of it. A truly dangerous attack on the rights to protest. You don't protest by nicking an old prison van, using it as a battering ram, and then smashing the spine of a policewoman with a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Crying out loud.
He's a dangerous
What's wrong with
individual.
these people? Absolutely, he is dangerous.
He's dangerous. We joke. It annoys me when people joke around about him because I'm like, the Greens are, again, not going anywhere, and they could hold a lot of power if we're not careful.
He makes me feel ill.
He makes me feel very uncomfortable.
Very
uncomfortable. Nervous about the future of the country, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Because he's not very smart, and people who could manipulate him are much smarter and know what they're doing.
I didn't realise that man had tried to sort of be everything, hadn't he? He'd tried to be... I don't know, an X Factor and something at the Liberal Democrats. I mean, he's just literally just wants fame, doesn't he?
Yes, yeah, because he wanted to be an actor, but he wasn't very good at it.
Yeah, he just wanted to be someone, you know, household name. Well, he's done it now.
Yeah.
Right. Are you ready?
Oh, yes, tension bed.
Tension bed. Which country's team received the most red cards ever in a World Cup tournament? 28 of them in total in 2006. Who's naughty? Who's got the most red cards ever in a World Cup? We'll let you know just after this.
Violence on the streets, there's no excuse for that, and if there are protests following this, I just hope that they remain non-violent. I mean, you can understand the community concerns after an attack like that.
People were saying all around the world, that's what British people now think. Have a listen to Rob from yesterday.
Morning, Jez. While, yes, rightly, you shouldn't condone what happened, what else have people got to do? The political class are not listening. These people who are coming over here illegally, they're rapists, terrorists, they're coming over here, it's literally like putting a wolf in a sheep field.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Live at talkTV Studios, it's Alex Phillips.
Okay. It sounded like she was deflating at the end, like a balloon.
I think we're going to end up with jingles that are just noises. Like,
we've moved very far away from the word jingle at this point. Yeah.
Let's just...
We've now fallen into more ominous threat.
Yeah. Righto. Which country's team received the most red cards ever in a World Cup tournament? 28 in 2006.
I go France.
No. Oh, yeah, they're a bit like...
Yeah, because I thought the headbutting thing.
Yeah.
No idea.
Germany.
Oh.
Ruffians.
Yeah.
I'd have gone for one of the African nations.
See, I thought that was
they
too obvious.
Body check a lot,
yeah, I thought
they?
that was a bit too obvious. That's why I thought... Well, you said the year. I thought, I wonder when that's when Zidane headbutted somebody and everyone lost their minds.
2006, I remember that World Cup because I was living in Ghana and it was the first time they qualified and they got all the way through to the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
And it was mad.
Oh, I can imagine.
And, like, the scenes on the streets,
Yeah.
it was just amazing. It was like the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I still remember their World Cup song.
Oh, God.
Weirdly.
Yeah.
Come on, Black Stars, Ghana.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Loved it. I worked for a TV station over there, and the guy who owned the TV station, a Lebanese guy called Talal Fatal, actually wrote the music.
No way.
Don't know what I'm telling you.
Also,
This is
that's a
not
great
that
name.
exciting. It is good.
That's a great name.
It's
Very fun to say.
I don't know why anyone needed that
Yeah.
information, but you
There you
got it
go.
anyway, free of charge. Let's do some messages and squeeze in a call. Ask yourself a basic question. Well, I'm just going to ask Pete Barnes a basic question.
Okie
If we had said no to all immigration in 1950, would we have any of the problems we now have? That's not a basic question. That's actually quite...
That's a complex
that's
question,
a big,
actually.
deeply nuanced question.
We have to separate, I've always thought, immigration and integration. Immigration is not a problem. A lack of integration and uncontrolled mass immigration is the problem.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's all about the controlled
it's
immigration.
the control. The problem is we imported, half of the world in a very short amount of time and did nothing about it.
We literally have the photo negative of what our immigration system should be.
Yeah.
Where all the people from, Anglo-Saxon Christendom, who would be great to have over here,
Yeah.
we're like, no. And all the people from mad countries that hate women, we're like, come on in.
Yeah.
Right, no, wrong way round.
Yeah.
I know I sound like a stuck record. That wasn't me, this is Mark.
All right.
But there is a fact we simply must absorb. The Liberal Left Progressive Coalition will never, ever back down. It is true. They will weld together into a unified force to keep us on this track. So the only thing the right can do is repair its divisions. Do we really want to turn around in 3 years and realise we lost our country because fewer than a handful of people couldn't abide each other? I agree. Like, get over yourselves. It's too important. Get over yourselves. Why don't they get that?
Yeah.
Afternoon, Alex. I can only imagine the reaction of the bond market if Burnham becomes PM and Miliband gets to play Chancellor. Wallace and Gromit wreck the economy, says David in the Cotswolds. He does look like a...
Oh, yeah, it's definitely Wallace
Miliband
and
does
Gromit.
look like a plasticine thing, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
it's definitely Wallace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Odd creature.
Yeah.
Should we speak to Matt in Cheshire?
I think we should.
All right. Hi, Matt.
Hi, afternoon, Alex. I spoke to you a couple of years ago and I made some comments about dark age men and lowlifes from every corner of the earth coming to Britain.
Yeah.
And you were a bit wary about my language at the time.
Oh, that Overton window's moved, hasn't it?
Yeah. Not long after that, you did your epic sort of monologue about the streets of London and how you were sick to the back teeth of it all. And obviously that got seen massively on YouTube and helped move the Overton window, if you like. And my theory is Labour don't mind the odd murder, the odd rape on the altar of defending multiculturalism and mass immigration. Part of me thinks it gives them an element of control and it gives them a reason to interfere in our lives and call people names. Not a lot of people know how revolting some of the Northwest MPs are, as we do, because we've had them as MPs for a decade. That includes Jonathan Reynolds, Angela Rayner, Lucy Powell, and how stupid other MPs are, like Liz Kendall and many others. So basically, I don't think they mind. It gives them like a Soviet-style overview of You know, we're just peasants. They're all up in their ivory tower. And a bit of death and a bit of fear doesn't go amiss to them.
Do you know, I think you're right there, because the EU are good at this as well. They love a crisis, because whenever there's a crisis, they can invent something else. They can set up some sort of system, more regulation, more control. And you're right, if it wasn't for, like, you know, big event happening and people taking to the streets, they wouldn't be able to crack down on us, would they? There is a sort of cynical, perverse opportunism. And then do you know what really got my goat? I was in America when everything was largely kicking off, the Henry Novak stuff and Belfast beheadings, attempted beheading, and so on. I was just like, I was itching to come and sort of talk on it. What really made me feel ill was, I think Farage did the right thing by addressing the nation. Our own Prime Minister should have addressed the nation. He never does. He chickens out. But then all of them, including Badenoch, can I just say, accused him of using an atrocity for a political advantage. The people who seem to be trying to play politics with it was them.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't turn around and say to a politician, you shouldn't say that, you shouldn't do it, you're stoking division of it. That is you playing a political point. He's a politician. He gets to say something and stick it up. You can do the same. Badenoch, you could have done it. Starmer, you could have done it. Ed Davey, you could have done it. You could have spoken to us. You could have said, what has happened is appalling. We've got to, you know, do X, Y and Z. Everyone has a right to feel cold rage. But they didn't do it, and then started slinging mud at him because he did do it, and then accusing him of being the one's political point scoring.
Yeah, it was silly from the establishment to behave like that. I mean, it was just an own goal. But my thing is, we can't stew in rage anymore. We can't just sit here, be really, really angry. We've got to do something. And my thing is that everybody on the right, no matter who you are, you've got to start telling the country how you're going to fix the thing now.
Yeah.
We can really... The public is very good at pointing at things and say, we need that fixed. Leadership is telling the country how you're going to fix it.
Yes.
That's the next step. Get angry, but direct the anger in a useful manner.
Right.
That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
And it's up to all of us on the right, not just one party or anything.
Exactly.
All
I
of
agree
us.
with you. And it's not about you,
Yeah.
whoever it might be as an individual politician. We don't care about you. We care about our country.
Yeah.
We care about us. You should care about us. But too many of them are just wannabe blimmin' celebrities. They like the sound of their own voice too much, half of them. Muppets. Matt, thank you ever so much for your call. We have about just over a minute and a half to go. Let's squeeze in a final message.
Yes.
I want a Britain, says Mark. Says Brad, sorry, in Cambridge. There has many ethnicities all contributing to one British culture. What we have is many cultures fighting for supremacy. This is the thing. I don't think there'd be anything wrong with having an immigration system massively controlled, only where we need, but then that focuses on Christian countries.